Welcome, everyone, to the Four Post Massacre Podcast. I am, of course, your host. You can simply call me Zaya. With us tonight, we have first in the red corner, to my left, none other than my colorful co-host. What's your name this week?
What up, everybody? Sadly, I know it's not the Space Jam podcast. I got shut out for that, but, maybe it'll make a return. But it's your boy, Marijuana Cena, in the building tonight.
Okay. And then what did I say, blue? Red corner! To my right, we have none other.
You said red corner twice.
What? Alright, so this is the purple corner. In the purple corner, to my right, we've got the owner of UWL, United Wrestling League, from both VW and ACW sides. He is also one of the main commentators there, and also one of my favorite people in the entire world, Mr. Downtown Jason Brown.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I really do. That warms the cockles of my heart.
What do you think of my nickname?
I like it. I like it.
See, he gets the gimmick. This is why you don't get the raises, Zahaya.
So Jason, we asked this about to every guest on this show.
You can do it.
I got it. Just give me a minute, Adam. Stop being so impatient. But what is your knowledge as far as the years of wrestling is concerned?
All right. So when it comes to my knowledge of professional wrestling, I was born in 1991. So I grew up in the era, at least, the era of the Attitude Era, of Ruthless Aggression, of the PG and the 2010s, and currently. I also come from a long line of people in my family who actually are wrestling fans. My late father was a wrestling fan. He used to travel down to Tennessee to watch Jerry the King Lawler and Bill Dundee fight. My older brother was a fan there in the 80s. So I watched a lot of tapes that he recorded and everything. So I was actually able to, while I was growing up with the Attitude Era, I was able to watch the previous era of the New Generation era, of the Hogan era. So with the knowledge of my father, of the stories my father would tell me, the tapes I would watch, I think my knowledge of wrestling is, pretty wide.
Well, it seems like from what you've told, it's like your entire family has gotten you into wrestling by the sounds of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So it's good, because we're definitely going to need that amount of knowledge to give us a different perspective on a few shows we're going to be talking about here tonight. Because we're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite. We're going to be talking about the VSX show that Adam went to, party all night long. And of course, we've got, unfortunately, some news in which we have to talk about. A lot of it not so very good, but we will get onto that later. But right now, we are going into our AEW Dynamite review.
Dynamite. Flashing lights. Dusty's my dad rampages on Fridays.
AEW
Dynamite.
AEW Dynamite. This edition of Dynamite was AEW Homecoming, because we are back in Daly's place after we've been gone for, I believe, about 4 weeks maybe at this point.
Yeah, they missed it so much.
4 weeks. We were gone for 4 weeks during our little mini pay-per-views, even though I guess this one also counted as like a mini pay-per-view.
Yeah.
They all feel like that now. We went over 1 million again.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
1.1, which
yeah, well, I mean, hey, that's been the consistent,
but
for the past few weeks. So
it has
good.
It has been. This was I got this from the Solid Monster back when I was listening to his podcast, but it seems that the 1 millions might be going away for a little bit, and I say that because the challenge is making its way back onto television.
Yeah, but CM Punk and Daniel Bryan.
Look, I'm not saying like it's not going to hit a million when those two pop up. I'm just saying like for now, at least, we might be slowing down a bit. But we're gonna have to find.
What exactly is the challenge?
It's like a reality based show. It's like the Survivor show.
So it's stupid. Okay.
Yes, it's very stupid. But I think
Leo Rush was on it.
Leo Rush was on it last season, I think. So
I don't know what he's. We're jumping to Dynamite.
Yes, Dynamite. Daly's place.
We kicked it off with the third labor of Jericho, or whatever the hell it is. It's Chris Jericho and Hoovy.
Yeah, Juventud Guerrera. The juice
was loose for at least the last half of this match.
Yeah. Look, I know that a lot of people on Twitter and online weren't very high on this. I thought this was an okay match. Like,
I still feel like they did it in reverse, but I get why. I don't know. I feel like I would have saved Gage for a little bit later.
Yeah, I kind of agree. They have done things backwards, but I actually enjoyed this match for what it was, mainly because, again, I remember seeing that match a long time ago when I was younger, and then eventually, later on, where I would, rewatch it like on YouTube and stuff like that. The Juventud and Chris Jericho match. If people were thinking, or were thinking going into this match, oh, these two are gonna bust it out like it's 1997. You're one thing. You're stupid.
Yeah,
you're extremely stupid. Jericho can still go, but he can't go like he did back in the 90s. And same thing for Hoovy. But but for it starting the show, it really gave you for people who watched that era, who watched WCW, who remember when the cruiserweights would open the show. That was like that right there. I really appreciated because that was always what set the tone for the rest of the show, and that right there was a good nostalgic feel. If anything, that's what it was. It was a good nostalgic feel.
No, I absolutely agree. There is a lot of times where it's like it seemed like spots were like a little rushed or whatever. But again, these are two dudes who haven't worked with each other for, I believe, like over a decade to this point. And I don't
opening.
I think the last time they worked was 1997 or 98.
Yeah, so
the opening was a little clunky.
Yeah, and I agree. It took them a while to like sort of get a flow going.
It wasn't really until Hoovy did the outside dive, then the match kind of picked itself back up. But like the beginning, there was a lot of like pause. What do we do?
Again, you kind of expect that when these two guys haven't worked together in 23 years.
And plus, I don't think Juventud even really works that much, or at least not.
He worked a few months ago, and he'll be working the GCW Chicago shows.
Who's he fighting on that?
It's just Hoovy's on the card.
He's just gonna be on the card.
Well, GCW just did their LA event. Now we'll start to find out matches for that card. We'll see who Hoovy is fighting. I wouldn't put it past me, honestly. No, he's not the Chicago shows. He's in the Detroit shows. Somebody we'll be talking about later just got released. That's my prediction.
Well, Yeah, I enjoyed
Dynamite.
I enjoyed the match for what it was.
I love the ending. The ending was awesome.
So I thought one of the spots was cool is like whenever Jericho he tried to go for a pin after he's like he tried to go for a back break, he tried to go to the pin, Aubrey said no. But I thought it was really clever when Hoovy tried to go for a Hurricane Rana, and then Jericho countered that into a Lion Tamer, and then Aubrey allowed it because it came off the top rope. I thought that was
really well done.
That was spectacular.
That was really well done.
I think everyone pretty much called the finish of this match, though.
Yep.
Jericho
hit the move that he's been hitting his whole life, but for some reason tonight was different.
Jericho hits the Judas effect normally on to Tuvitude. Can't go for the cover though. Aubrey's like, no, you got to win from the top rope. So he's like, all right, bet to the top, super Judas effect, which is basically a top rope back elbow, but still 1, 2, 3. Jericho gets past labor number 4, and
we did get to see a Hoovy driver, which was cool.
No, not labor number 3. Labor number 4 came up right after this, which was
a little disappointing.
It's a little disappointing, but I think it was expected.
I'm fine with it being Wardlow. I just think with like Nick Gage and Hoovy, you were really like building up like, oh, is it Lance Storm? Could it be the Big Show? And it's like, oh, it's Wardlow. And I'm like, nah, I get it. But at the same time, like, I don't want Wardlow losing. Like, he should be one of the protected guys.
Yeah.
Or if you were gonna do Wardlow, I would have done Wardlow first instead of Shawn.
I just think it makes a lot more sense storyline wise because, like, obviously MJF would pick Wardlow. He's his fucking security. Like, that's his second in command. That's like his main dude. Like, that's you want to see him get shit done.
And then there was all the confusion afterwards with, is he the guest referee?
So,
is he not the guest referee?
So apparently MJF messed up in his promo saying, like, you're going to fight Wardlow and it's going to be me as the referee. But apparently it's not. I think he's supposed to be the enforcer in that match. I think that's what he was supposed to say. Because it's still him at ringside with Wardlow. But I guess if...
Yeah, because for like the next hour after that till we got the graphic, JR's like, what kind of match you gonna be? You gonna be a referee? What is MJF doing? Why do I work here? You know? Why does everybody wait around for the spot?
I can understand people being disappointed. I understand that I get, like, this makes sense storyline wise, so I'm not too upset about this. I can get people being kind of disappointed because after going up with Nick Gage and then Hoovy and then into Wardlow, but yeah, it is what it is. This is all of this is setting up for Jericho to fight MJF anyway, so it's whatever. But after that, we get a backstage segment between Phoenix and Penta, but there's no Pac.
But also there's no Alex Marvez.
There is no Alex Marvez.
It was Dasha. So I guess the Marvez clones are working today.
So Dasha's like, yo, what the fuck? Where's Pac? And it was like, well, somebody apparently was tampering with some tickets, which this is this second week that fucking Andrade and Travo have done this shit. How is this? How are they doing this?
Well, because Andrade has money, and Chavo has money, and they're gonna try and get the Lucha Brothers to come to their side by being like, oh, where's your leader? Where's your Pac? How about you come work for us? Again, it's the best thing Andrade's done since showing up.
Yeah.
You know, I feel, Andrade, great wrestler and all, but like, again, this is AEW's like thing. I mean, at least not in every case, because we'll talk about the main event where that's a whole different can of worms. But they bring a guy in, and it's like the initial impact's never as big, but then they start to figure it out. I assume we're getting Andrade and Pac at All Out for the custody of the Lucha Bros in a ladder match.
I feel like you do make a point with that. It just feel like these initial debuts and everything. Yeah, when they debut and everything, it's not as impactful later on until they start to figure it out. I mean, case in point, Miro. Miro for those first couple of months, he didn't really. Yeah, he was undefeated, but he didn't really feel like a big deal. It wasn't until he finally went on his own. And then that's when, he started this whole, God's favorite athlete thing. And now he's booming now. Hopefully it can be the same case with Andrade. It's just they're trying to figure out what they want to do with him. And once they figure it out, then it's off to the races with him. And also apparently, please AEW, try not to sign his entire family, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about, Rick got fired, so he can show up now, and ROH, I guess, could team up if they want to. That only leaves Charlotte. So yeah, no, like I said, if this is leading to Andrade and Pac at All Out, that match sounds great. I hope it just lives up to the hype, because the Seidel match didn't. But I don't know what was up with that.
Yeah.
But and also I do hope it ends up being a custody for the Lucha Brothers ladder match. They have Vicky Guerrero, so they can redo the "Where the fuck is Vicky" spot.
No.
It's booking 101, people.
No. Oh God.
I would actually laugh. I would die. That happened.
But after that, we have another backstage promo. It's Tony Schiavone's with the Dark Order.
Yeah.
And not Hangman. Yeah.
It's like, so guys, sucks what happened. Like, you don't get your title shots. Life's kind of rough right now. And the Dark Order's like, yeah, man, before they really even get to say anything, Hangman just comes in. And he's like, look, guys, after what happened there was kind of my fault, and I need to go and figure myself out. So I think it's best for the time being if we just split up. And everybody in the Dark Order was so heartbroken. And then Adam left. And so I guess that's going to be it for Hangman.
Oh, well, somebody pointed out.
Okay.
And I didn't catch this at first.
All right.
But Hangman, when he walks in, you notice he goes over to a table. Now, at the end of this segment, because at the beginning, there is not a CD on the table. But once Hangman leaves, there is a mysterious CD left on a table in the Dark Order's locker room. Now, is that going to lead to something? AEW likes to do these little, here's this Easter egg. It's going to come back eventually. What possibly might be on this tape? If that tape comes into play.
And if you really think about it, how they're doing the story and everything, it's kind of mirroring what, Kenny went through back in New Japan.
Yeah.
So this right here, it's that long-term storytelling that's really paying off. And I think the main reason why he's going is because he didn't recently become a dad.
Yeah,
is he a dad now, or is he expecting? Because that seems to be the reason why he's not going to be involved in the title match.
I think they're pretty much expecting very soon at this point.
It's more and more apparent that seems to be the reason why we're not getting the Hangman title match, because you don't want the world champion to win and then he leaves like Moxley did for a whole month.
Yeah.
But again, you save it for Full Gear, where Kenny and Omega, where Kenny and Hangman split. So
no,
that works.
They split at All Out. They had their first match with each other back at Full Gear.
But didn't they lose the belts at Full Gear?
No, they lost the belts to FTR at All Out.
Oh, God, it's so many things. Well, either way, this feud's red hot no matter how long it takes. So I think it's going to be fine, especially with what probably the main event is going to be of this show. So there's that. But that little segment will come into play later on in our night.
Yeah.
But we have a trios matchup next, continuing my whole theory that we're getting people, what's the word I'm looking for? Just getting people comfortable with trios matches because those trios belts are on their way.
So
Yeah.
So
this is a fucked match.
This match came out of absolutely no. So apparently on Twitter after dark, we got a backstage promo by 2.0 and fucking Daniel Garcia challenging Kingston, Darby, and Moxley to a 3-on-3 tag match. First of all, what? Second of all, 2.0 and Garcia, how the hell did that even come about? 3, this match was so much fun. Oh my god. I just recently got into Daniel Garcia, and I already fucking love Red Death. He's already one of my favorite dudes to watch. Goddamn 2.0 were amazing. That whole fucking Sting part of the match where I believe, who was it? What was the bigger guy's name? Adam. Do you not know?
Adam?
Did he leave? That son of a bitch. It was the bigger guy out of 2.0. I think his name is Matt Parker. I could be wrong.
No. Matt Lee.
Matt Lee. Okay.
Jeff Parker is the other one.
See, that's why I got it confused.
The former, Matt Martell and I forget what the other guy's name was.
So Matt Lee, all starstruck. I think he was picking up Jeff, and then he put him back down when he fucking saw Sting. He's like, God.
He's picking him up. He's like, you're the real Sting? Is it the real Sting?
And then fucking Darby.
And then Darby fucking out of nowhere
just kills him. Just fucking
murder. Lays this dude out.
Obliterates this man. Like, he's fucking gone after Darby just fucking comes out of nowhere and just throws his entire body. That's what he does. When people usually do suicide dives, they usually put their fucking hands out and shit and just shove the dude. Dude literally just goes back first and just fucking goes for it every single time. It's amazing.
That's just Darby. He doesn't do, a traditional outside dive. He just throws himself at you.
It's like a trust fall suicide dive. It just here's my body, catch if you want it.
Well, no fucking choice that time.
And so Matt Martell gets not Matt Martell. I'm gonna fuck. And Matt Lee gets murdered, which leads to our ending of the match.
Fucking Garcia goes to the top rope. He misses, diving nothing. Moxley hits him with the Paradigm Shift, tags in to Darby. Darby hits the coffin drop for the victory. Everyone, big time babyface win here. Fucking Moxley and Kingston do a little photo op with Sting in the middle of the ring. That was
what a phenomenal
awesome
picture that is now of Sting just two sweeting while Eddie and Mox just mark. Which is just, I guess this is just like, this might just be Sting's new gimmick for the time being with Darby is just have him interact with people and see how they react. And Eddie Kingston's gimmick lately has been, look at this fucking guy I loved watching. Because that's how he was on Dark. They had Davy Crockett on commentary, and Eddie couldn't just stop going, shut up, Shivani, it's Davy Crockett. I love Eddie. I love all three. Honestly, I love all six of these guys.
Did you happen to see his promo that he cut in AEW?
I saw like a small like paragraph of what it was, but I haven't watched it yet. But I heard it was fantastic.
It was absolutely phenomenal.
But I'm not surprised it's Eddie Kingston. But yeah, a big fan of all three of these guys on the winning team, and a big fan of the three guys on the opposing team. It's awesome to see 2.0 immediately back in something because they're so fucking talented as a team. Matt Lee is just so hysterically funny. And Daniel Garcia is an amazing prospect on the come up. By the way, I know we save it, but I'll mention it here. Daniel Garcia with 2.0 will be fighting in a singles contest against Darby this Wednesday.
Yeah. I can't wait. I think that's probably going to be the show stealer on that card.
And I heard him and Wheeler Yuta had a fantastic match.
60 minutes.
Over the weekend.
60 whole minutes.
A draw.
I need to go watch that. But, yeah, really fun stuff. After that, though, we get a little bit of a video package for Brian Cage and the Team Taz feud. Cage's like, I didn't even want to be a part of this fucking thing. You just,
I didn't even want to be a part of this. Yeah, you cost me a world title, so you gave me your smelly belt. Which I think how this needs to end is Brian Cage needs to recreate what he did in Lucha Underground and have him tear apart the FTW title.
Yes! Abso-freaking-lutely.
Just in the middle of the ring, just rip it. It could be a replica, it could be the original, I don't care. Have him rip the belt.
Just have him destroy it. It's not like they fucking ever defend the belt anyway. It's fine. It'll be absolutely fine. But, yeah, building
Was that an actually sanctioned title or anything?
No.
Or, no?
As far as I know, the FTW World Championship has never been sanctioned. Ever.
All right.
But, obviously this is all leading to an eventual rematch between Ricky and Brian Cage, possibly at All Out. I'm excited. I liked what they did. I hope they can do even better the second time around.
Yeah, screw your smelly belt.
After this...
Hey, it's time for some Space Jam!
God damn it.
Because the Elite Squad are backstage, shooting hoops, retiring their jerseys because they make it very clear we've beaten everyone. So what does a good team do when they win? They cut the net down, retire their jerseys, and say, peace out, because there's nobody left for us to fight. Until Michael Jordan shows up with Bill Murray.
This whole segment was so all over the goddamn place.
Not just the segment, but the drips.
Fucking Gallows is in goddamn Flair's robe.
Gallows is in Flair's robe for some reason. Kenny's got a Cookie Monster t-shirt on. Matt is just... And Nick's
losing his fucking mind.
A lot of hint dropping during this entire segment.
Yeah, the CM Punk thing, the Ric Flair thing.
Maybe a Daniel Bryan thing, I don't know.
Possibly. The C stands for cookie, motherfathers. This is my favorite line. This is my favorite line of this whole thing. So yeah, it was basically them saying, we're the best tag team, ain't nobody can beat us. And Kenny's like, I'm the best world champion, ain't nobody gonna beat us, so you might as well just shut this shit down, retire us in our jerseys, and then they cut down the net to signify that that's it, we're the best, no one's gonna be able to beat us. That might not be the case, considering what we have coming up in the future, and right now. Because after this, we go straight into Christian versus The Blade in what was I thought was a pretty standard television match. They didn't do anything inherently wrong. They didn't do anything inherently all that spectacular. I thought they just did a very good, well-worked match between the two.
Yes. Christian's run in AEW, say what you will about it. He's had some good matches. And he's had some decent matches, but he really hasn't had that great match yet.
No.
which is hilarious that he goes around with the moniker "Outwork Everyone."
He ain't outworking shit.
He ain't outwork anybody.
Fucking.
So yeah, it is what it is. And I think I know what this is leading to.
I think we all pretty much what it's leading up to at this point.
Well, what we heard later on in the night, it pretty much clarified that.
Yeah. This is just all basic. Oh, you want to say something?
I was gonna say during the match though, we did have some interference.
Yeah. Well, Bunny had been getting herself involved in the match like 2 or 3 times up to this point, until none other than Layla Hirsch, the woman who she will be fighting later on in the card, comes out, makes the save for Christensen's the Bunny to the back. At that point, the Blade tries to he gives like Christian like a slingshot into the ropes and then kicks him in his head, and then he starts messing with the turnbuckle post, which the referee had to go work on. He grabs the brass nuts. He's going to use them on Christian. Christian, though, hits him with the spear, gets the victory, and Christian is still undefeated in AEW.
So what that leads to is, I think we all know what's going to lead to, because if Hangman is going to be out, possibly, because of a baby, that only leaves one other person who's going to be challenging Kenny.
Yeah. And look, I get it. We all want Hangman to win the belt. He's the hottest, pretty much the hottest babyface in the AEW. You don't want to, slow down his momentum. I get all of that, but it's kind of like it's a life situation at this point. It's it's out of our hands type of situation.
That's the thing with professional wrestling, with a lot of these guys. Look, everyone wants to see him, win that belt at All Out, but to him, what's probably more important is to see the birth of his child.
Oh, absolutely.
That's way more important to him than winning the belt.
Said, and this is not like, okay, he's the only way it backfires on them, and I can't see it happening at this point, is if Punk is not showing up. Because if Punk doesn't show up, it's career suicide for that whole company to be doing all this build. And to have having Kenny and Christian be your main event just doesn't sound right. But if Punk really is coming in, the main event of All Out is going to be Punk and Darby, and that's fine because the fans are going to love that. And with that happening, guess what that does? That doesn't hurt Kenny, and that doesn't hurt Hangman's momentum. Because when Hangman comes back, it's going to be a huge pop, and everyone's going to know, okay, now there's no stopping Full Gear from being the place. This feud is so hot, people are going to eat it up no matter how long it takes at this point.
I agree. After
the
that
segment we get, and I think that segment's next, right? Oh no, that's not next.
We get a quick little video package between Santana Ortiz and Dax Hardwood of FTR.
No, Dax was on.
He was
in this promo,
dude. He was on another level on this promo. He was fired up. He was passionate because his fucking partner almost died, and like he had to see like all the blood spilling out. And he's like, you, Santana and Ortiz, you did that. And for that, you guys are going to pay. Like this, you have not seen the last of FTR, and we're going to come back at you with a vengeance. And all this setting up for the rematch. Oh my God. If they add like some sort of like stipulation to this, and make it all that much better.
Yeah, I mean, no, it really, really sucks how that first encounter happened.
Oh my God.
It was just, oh my fucking God.
They showed the hook in his arm in the video package.
Yeah, that was just blood. It was disgusting, but at the same time, it adds to it to really make this,
as real as possible. And when they go at it again, they're gonna tear down the fucking roof.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If anything, wherever show this match is on, that's probably gonna be the match everyone's gonna be talking about the most. I almost have a guarantee. I'll that in the Punk match, if Punk does come in.
After that, though, we go on to another in-ring promo. Tony Schiavone is in the ring. He introduces the AEW Women's Champion, Dr. Britt Baker.
Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Gotta do the hand thing. Do the hand thing.
She basically comes out, before she can really even say anything, though, she gets interrupted by Red Velvet, who basically comes on out here. She says she wants a crack at the AEW Women's Championship. Britt Baker almost immediately, almost pushes her away. Like, last time we were in the ring, I beat you in, what did she say? It was 30 seconds, 3 minutes, something like that.
Beat your ass in Jacksonville in 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes. And Red Velvet is like, if you honestly think that I'm the same, developmental talent that I was a year ago, then you're going to be proven dead wrong. And then Britt Baker just sets the time and the date. All right, you can have your shot. On the first episode of Rampage, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it'll be Britt Baker versus Red Velvet for the AEW Women's Championship. And then before Velvet can really leave, Rebel tries to hit her with the crutch, gets laid out by Velvet. Velvet tries to lay out Britt Baker. Rebel distracts her again. This gives Britt enough time to hit the curb stomp onto Velvet and put the crutch to her neck. So that is our next match for the first episode of Rampage. Britt Baker.
The main event.
Yeah, as it should be. Britt Baker versus...
Which I'm hoping this is what Rampage is going to be for, is to finally help them build their women's division stronger. And let there be more than just the women's world title feud. Let there be more to that,
Yeah.
Because that's, because as much as the women's division has grown, and if anyone's still out there still believes that the AEW women's division is trash, one thing, you're a fucking idiot. But there are still issues. Mostly that the only real feuds in the women's division is the women's title. Hopefully now with Rampage, we can see more than just the world title feud,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
And hopefully this gives Britt Baker's, title reign some more steam, because ever since she won it, I know you're a big Britt Baker fan and everything, but so far her reign has not been that good.
Oh yeah, no, and I'll be the first one to tell you, they have not done her any justice by just having her, because it was the cheeseburger thing, and then the whole heel versus heel thing with Nyla didn't really make any sense. It was a very bad start for her as, their next top women's champion. I think that she has a chance to turn it around. They're going to be in Pittsburgh. That crowd is going to be they're going to be in the palm of her hands. And I
also think the match itself is going to be good.
Absolutely.
Velvet, and I think Red Velvet has in the next year or two is going to be a huge player for them.
I think Velvet already is a very, very good worker. So I am very interested into seeing what her and Britt Baker are going to be able to pull out at Rampage in Pittsburgh. I think it should be a pretty good match. But after that, we get another backstage segment with Andrade and Chavo. And
what happened here?
Chavo was like, all right, I know that the Lucha Bros won't come and work for you, but I found someone who could. And out comes, it's Fuego del Sol.
Fuego, he's alive. He's not dead.
Yeah.
He's getting kicked in the head.
And so Chavo was like, all right, Fuego, the first job I need is like, I need you to clean Andrade's shoes. He's like, what? He's like, oh, yeah, I need you to clean his shoes. I'm like, that wasn't a part of no, just clean his shoes. And it's like, no, this is what? And then fucking Andrade just blindsides him.
You fucking damn up.
You're gonna clean his fucking
Clean my fucking shoes.
And they fucking beat the shit out of Fuego. It's so unnecessary. Fucking kick the shit out of this poor man. And it's like, we're tired of playing around, Lucha Bros. You better start thinking about this stuff, or this could happen to you. All that junk. Poor Fuego. Poor
Fuego. Hopefully he wins that. Was it the Best Friends Jacket tournament they're having?
Yeah.
Well, poor Fuego. He is now officially a member of the Nightmare family as of this week.
Hey.
Oh. Hey, so that means Fuego is now officially All Elite?
Yeah, or at least in the makings of being All Elite. He's a part.
Yeah.
I think he's a part of their developmental system. I think.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, if you're part of the Nightmare family, then yeah.
Yeah. But after that, unnecessarily brutal murder, we go to more unnecessary murder.
Dan Lambert's back.
Oh wait, no, that's after this. That's after.
Dan Lambert's next.
No.
No? What was
No.
next?
It's the Hangman in-ring promo, and then it's the Lambert promo.
See, my notes say differently.
See, but I watched the show.
I'm on AEW.com. So you tell me who the fuck is right.
Well, I'm telling you I'm right because I'm the host of the fucking show, Adam.
Whatever.
So, in-ring promo up next. Shivani's in the ring again. He's about to interview Hangman. And before he could say anything, here comes the Elite to rub it in.
The Elite Squad is back. It's Space Jam time.
Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Carl Anderson, and fucking Captain Dangly, the big LG Doc Gallows, and full HD, baby.
Yeah, that's what I want in my life.
1080p. 3-time IWGP Tag Team Champion. God bless.
I only had 2 tag teams.
So they basically come out. Hangman's like, you know what? This is fun because Bucks, I really needed to talk to you. I had something to say, and before he's like, and Kenny's like, no. I see what's happening here. Now that you've lost and everything, you're trying to crawl back to the Elite. You want to join back up with the Elite. And he's like, well, you know what, Hangman? I don't think we really have a place for you in the Elite anymore because the Elite no longer accepts losers. We don't no longer accept failures into our ranks. And that just completely sets Hangman off. He goes after every single one of them. Of course, this never goes well. He gets beaten down viciously, takes a magic killer. He's getting taken out completely by the Elite. The Dark Order, though, try to come out, try to make the save, but Stu and Evil Uno tell the guys to go back. Can't do this. You heard what he wants. This is for him. We can't get involved. You heard him. This is his own business. So reluctantly, they all go back. They're still beating on Hangman. Frankie Kazarian.
Yeah, but Hangman never told Frankie he couldn't show up.
Yeah. Frankie, with his own agenda, starts going in there, starts trying to beat down the Elite, gets immediately taken out. Like, it's...
The Elite Hunter. Look, the Elite Hunter. Look. He needs to get the other Hunter.
That's what I'm saying! That's what I'm saying! We need to get Yoshitatsu on the line, bro! He needs...
But he can get the Gun Club. They were an Elite Hunter, right?
We're going to get the Gun Club. We're going to get Yoshitatsu. And they're all going to be led by Frankie Kazarian.
The Elite
the new faction.
Yeah, that's what's going to get the Elite. That's right. Yep.
The Elite Hunters.
Fucking Austin Gunn.
Austin and Colton Gunn, bro!
Hey. Austin, he has some good beats still, at least.
He does.
Frat boy.
Have you ever listened to one of his raps?
I have. He's not that bad.
Oh, dear God.
Well, he's good.
Dude, Colt 45, bro!
I'm done with this. What?
Look, we all know Kenny fears Yoshitatsu.
Yes!
Yeah, Kenny Omega and the Bucks, they beat the shit out of Hangman. That ends that segment. So clearly, this does two things. This writes Hangman off for the time being.
Yeah.
And obviously this also continues the Dark Order storyline. What's gonna happen there?
Yes.
Well, and I'm gonna assume that maybe Hangman will return at All Out after the Kenny match with Christian.
Yes.
But the bigger question, because we've never addressed it, and it's been like 8 fucking weeks now. What the hell is the end game with Frankie?
Look. We all know where this is leading. All right.
No.
The Hunter Elites are coming in, and we're gonna get that big match at All Out. We're gonna have Kenny Omega putting his AEW World Title on the line against Yoshitatsu and his action figure.
Dude, someone get Captain New Japan on the phone.
Yes, we got
Captain fucking New Japan.
Yes, we're gonna. Yoshitatsu's putting his action figure on the line.
And because here's the thing, guess where Frankie is now? He's in Impact, and guess what he's doing in Impact? The same fucking thing.
He's the Elite Hunter. He has to go wherever they are.
Here's the thing about a hunter: they usually get their prey. Frankie hasn't had one up on anything. He hasn't even had he got beat up by the idiot on Dynamite.
Look. He's a hunter. We didn't say he was a good hunter.
Where's Daniels? Where's Elix Skipper?
Well, Daniels, I think, isn't he retired now?
Is he officially retired?
I don't know. I thought he was working I thought he was working backstage at this point.
I want to know where this is. Because it's like, you're all right. Yep, here comes Frankie. He gets beat up. Oh, okay, right.
I do agree with you that at some point this has to go somewhere. Like he can't.
It's going nowhere. Unless is fucking Frankie going to be the one that takes the Impact title off of Kenny?
Yoshitatsu.
I'm done here. Dan Lambert's up next, everybody.
So Dan Lambert's like, all right, assholes, I didn't forget about what happened. Your stupid monster laid me out in the middle of the ring, made me look like a fool. So guess what? Next time I come back there, I'm going to have some backup.
Well, he makes it clear it's this Wednesday.
Yeah. All right.
He will be on. Who's he bringing? Are we about to see Jorge Masvidal fight Lance Archer?
All right. So I got this completely from the Deadlock podcast, and now I'm almost entirely scared. But they made mention that Jim Ross, during Wardlow's attack on Jericho, I think they called him like he was a monster among men.
Oh no! But wait, he doesn't have the complete clause is still not up yet.
Is it not?
Wait, when did? Let me look at it.
I don't think his. I think his is still 90. I think that expires after All Out.
Let's see, Showman was released early June.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be possible yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Dan's going to be on this week and says he's bringing back up. I don't know.
Someone also mentioned that Bobby Lashley is still a part of American Top Team. So,
Right, but
yeah,
that's not happening.
What do you mean?
We'll get King Mo,
or Josh Barnett,
or Colby Covington.
A lot of people, just to get off the joking, a lot of people are saying it's probably going to be Filthy Tom Warrior.
If it's Filthy Tom, oh, fuck yeah.
That'd be dope. Tom Warrior versus Lance Archer? Yeah, absolutely.
That would make sense, because he is the current, I believe, he's the New Japan Strong Champion, right?
He is.
Yeah. Ooh.
Or he could be bringing in the toughest man who ever lived, Yoshitatsu.
So yeah, this Wednesday, Dan Lambert's back, and he's gonna be awesome as usual because Dan Lambert fucking rules.
What if he brings all of Team Filthy with him? We get fucking
that'd be sick
Chris
too.
Dickinson on AEW television.
You think I'm gonna be upset at that?
That'd be dope.
I'd just be keeping my fucking, Nostradamus thing going, where I just know, hey, all these indie guys are gonna be popping up. RSP just fought Brian Cage this week on Elevation. I don't know how the match went, but I'm gonna watch it.
I think the next episode, Dark's gonna have 19 matches.
Well, I won't be watching all that. But what I will say I want to watch and might watch again was this amazing TNT title match that's up next.
So, yeah, TNT title match. Miro, the Redeemer, God's favorite champion, against Lee Johnson. Big shotty.
This match was not what I thought it was going to be, and I was happy with how it ended up being. I thought it was going to be, Lee's going to get fucking murdered. Instead, we had a fucking good match.
I kind of expected this to be booked the way it is. I didn't think it was going to go as long as it did, but I kind of saw the way it was going to be. So, it was basically Lee hitting, trying to hit all of his moves on Miro, and Miro just not selling any of it. He didn't give it, a fuck.
At first.
Yeah, at first.
He wasn't. And then he got him down to a knee. And then he got him down to one knee. And then he got him down to no knees. And the crowd kept eating this fucking thing alive.
Yeah.
Miro gave this kid a lot. And Lee Johnson's got a bright fucking future.
He does. Miro, though, just absolutely... I don't know, between him and Kenny, it always alternates. He might be my favorite champion in pro wrestling right now. Because, fuck, dude. Just his presentation, the way he comes out with the belt, just all of it, just everything about him just screams fucking superstar. And he's like the full package. And how a fucking company that is apparently looking for guys like Miro at this moment in time, it doesn't make sense on why this took so long for people to figure out.
I don't know, people are stupid.
Ugh!
Because he can't speak English.
It's bullshit.
And also remember,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just,
And remember, he committed a very big cardinal sin in Vince McMahon's eyes. He was married to a white woman. Because remember, Vince McMahon does not like the mixing the races.
Wait, what?
That was one of the rumors why Lana and Rusev had heat, is because they were a mixed race couple.
That's incredibly offensive if that's true. What the fuck? I've never heard that before.
I also heard it was also due to the fact that he was a big fat guy and she was a skinny white woman, and he was like, "You don't marry men like that. You marry Dolph Ziggler." Again, how anybody works for that company baffles me, but that's here nor there. We'll probably talk about it in the news segment because that's the only fucking news we have.
Well, not the only news. So the match pretty much, Lee goes up top. He hits a nice frog splash for the closest 2 count. He got to this point. Fuck. How did the end go? I didn't write down the notes for the ending. Do you have notes for the end, Adam Jackpot?
Oh yeah, he went for the near fall with the frog splash. Miro eventually managed to get back to his feet, locked in the game over. And that was game, set, and match on this one.
Killed.
But like I said, was not expecting it to be as almost even as it ended up being. Was happier with the outcome afterwards. Because Miro did not have to give Lee as much as he did because of the character that Miro is right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that shows how much they have stock in Lee Johnson. So.
And this shows the confidence that they have, in their future.
That's what a company should do.
So
right?
Instead of releasing half their developmental roster. But anyways.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that.
After that, Tony Schiavone. Where the fuck is Alex?
He's interviewing Christian backstage after his match. Pretty much confirms what we already know. You're undefeated. That makes you the number 1 contender for the AEW World Championship. And Christian's all like, I guess, yeah, that's pretty cool. I ain't come here to hang out with the boys. I came here to win championships. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. You know why? Because I'm elite. And then Christian leaves. I'm already regretting this. This is not a great promo by Christian.
What did he mean by all that? Does that mean, is he going to join the elite?
I don't know.
Is the elite about to be turned into the Christian coalition?
I think he was being, tongue in cheek because the company is all elite and they're the elite, so he's elite, and he's like, haha, that's also what the company's called. I think we're gonna see. I believe
coalition is coming back.
I've said I want to see.
We get Tomko coming back.
Oh please, where is Tomko?
And he's gonna jump ship.
Scott Steiner.
Oh my god! If we get Scott Steiner on an episode, just at least one episode of Dynamite, just give him a microphone.
I do believe that this little segment is something that's going to culminate on Dynamite this week.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I guess that'll be confirmed.
Yeah, whatever. We already know where it's leading to, so it's no point. I guess. It is what it is.
I think the match is going to be good.
No, I think the match is going to be really fucking good. That's not my problem here.
If anything, how we were talking about earlier, Christian hasn't had, that stellar match yet. He's going to have a stellar match with Kenny because Kenny's going to lead him through it.
Force it out of him.
Yeah, Kenny could literally have a match with a fucking sock. I know people say broomstick, but Kenny could fight a fucking sock and make it a 5-star classic.
At this point, absolutely. So he's like, Christian's going to get his fucking working boots on.
So that confirms Sock is the next AEW World Champion.
You're going to fucking work in this match, motherfucker.
But after that, we get our women's match of the night.
Our NWA Women's Championship Eliminator.
Yes, the winner of, as mentioned, Serena Deeb, who was scheduled to fight Camille at the Power show, the all-women's event that NWA and Mickie James are sponsoring.
Wait, what's it called?
It's called M-Power, E-M Power, like M-Power.
Oh, okay.
For a second, I thought it was like the whole, power thing, because, they like to spell power with 3 R's.
Oh, no, it's still with 3 R's. It's M-Power. It's supposed to, be in, M-Power, like empowering women, but it's like, but it's
No,
empower. Yeah, it's NWA. They do weird shit. The card, hey, Deanna's fighting Melina for the Knockouts title. That's something. But yeah, so Serena Deeb was supposed to fight Camille. Serena Deeb, I think, is hurt. So in that place, AEW decided to give Layla and the Bunny the opportunity. The obvious right outcome happened, which I was extremely happy about. The match itself was okay.
Yeah. I don't know what really else to say here. They didn't really do much. Fucking Layla kind of missed her moonsault, which was unfortunate. She wins with the armbar here. She gets the Bunny to tap out. So she's going to be the person representing AEW to fight for the NWA Women's Champion, Camille.
Yes, Camille, who's there.
Yeah, she was there.
And then, yeah, the internet makes memes after this because she gets in the ring. And Camille, who's already a tall woman, is now also wearing heels. and Layla Hirsch, who is, I believe, smaller than like Alexa or
how you already know what this looks like.
Yeah,
everybody made that very clear on
the picture.
Twitter.
I've seen the picture.
Because Layla, I believe, is like smaller than Bliss. She's already 5 foot. I think she's like
4'11". She's 4'11".
Yeah. But she's fantastic. Layla Hirsch is the fucking god. She's so fucking good. I'm very happy that she won.
I'm actually looking forward to her and Camille's match because I'm very like just the David and Goliath imagery of alone. Just is like, all right, this is interesting.
But then obviously, I hope Layla wins. I don't think she's going to.
She's not.
But
I think it's Camille.
I do hope that eventually Layla does get a shot at Bray or something. She deserves it. She's really fucking good.
Yeah.
But I think the dream match that everybody is now hoping that comes out of this is Camille and Jade.
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. I saw a lot of people talking because of just how similar in style they are. That could definitely be a big money match if they built up to it.
Jade had a promo on this show.
I
didn't learn any fucking thing I didn't already goddamn know.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't fucking care about this.
I don't know. They have a wine sponsor. She's that bitch. That's about it.
Yeah.
Adam, before our main event, you know what to do.
God damn it! This happens every
Fuck! Every time.
I got this. Talk about the build to our main event of the night.
Well, it's a feud that is heaven and hell. Cody obviously representing heaven, Malachi Black. Hell, it is dark and lightness. It is all of the other cliches in the book. Good versus evil.
So here is your match rundown for Dynamite next this Wednesday in Pittsburgh, in Britsburg.
There you go.
A regular Dynamite, no special like tagline or anything, just Dynamite. We're gonna see Nyla Rose and Chris Statlander. They're gonna be in a match. Dan Lambert's gonna appear. Who knows what he's gonna do? Daniel Garcia and Darby Allin, they're going to have a match. As mentioned, Christian will be, I guess, confronting the Elite in some capacity. Also confirmed during the entrances for Cody, after 2 weeks of build-up, are we finally going to see QT Marshall apologize to Tony Schiavone? We're going to see if that ends up happening. Chris Jericho will have his 4th labor against Wardlow with special enforcer or referee or who the fuck knows, MJF. And for the first time on Dynamite, the Impact Tag Team Championships will be defended as the Good Brothers take on Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. So that's everything confirmed as of right now for Dynamite, of course, as always, something will get added. Always does.
Yeah. But that's all next week. It is now time for our main event of the evening, a match that has been built up for 4 weeks now. It is Cody versus Malachi Black. And right out of the gate, they want you to know how important Malachi is in this situation. Because Jesus Christ, this entrance was so good.
GW knows how to do entrances.
And not only that, I already said it on Twitter, but there are very little people in the realm of professional wrestling that understand how important presence is in professional wrestling than fucking Malachi or Tommy, in a sense. This dude, he knows that the most important thing is like body language, expressions, and, just overall look all come into play. And he
did all that with a fucking mask on.
Exactly. And his
the lighting, the song, which is another licensed song, just adds to AEW's coolness factor. He looked like $1 million, and the match didn't even start yet.
Yep.
And then Cody came out.
And
he was dressed as Homelander again.
Why?
He's a big boys fan.
Look. When let's just get into this match because there's something I really want to say.
Okay.
There's something I really
Well, I mean, the match itself is extremely. It's what everybody was hoping for. It was almost Brody Lee all over again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cody tried to get a few things in here and there. Malachi pretty much kicked the shit out of him.
Yep.
At one point, Cody's on the top rope. Malachi just fucking runs with a fucking knee to the skull, and Cody just through a table, which was incredible.
Yeah.
That spot looked so dangerous, but it was so clean. Gets back in the ring. Gets hit with the black. I don't know if we have a name
they
for it.
They have not called it by anything specific at this point.
So for right now, it's the Black Mass until further notice. And not only pins him, but pins him with 1 foot on the chest.
Mm-hmm.
And the match ends. And then Cody's getting back to his feet. Tony Schiavone with his best Joe Rogan sitting down with him. And what appears to be almost a Cody Rhodes retirement speech. Talking about, all the years, he got let go and, what he's been able to do and how AEW is competition and the Daily's place is the AEW amphitheater, and he starts to take his boots off. And then Malachi from behind with the crutch.
Before
Cody is laid out.
He takes off one boot. And
he takes off one boot. Malachi takes that boot with him, I guess, as like a prize. And Dynamite ends.
And okay, now this is something I want to say. I do not want to hear goddamn shit from anyone about Cody. He's not fucking Triple H. He is not Jeff Jarrett. This man, when he knows when to do it, he will put over people. All right? He's not Jeff Jarrett, and he's sure as hell not fucking Triple H. And I get it. Not a lot of people are fans of Cody. You know what? I'm actually a fan of Cody. Bad promos and all. He can dress up like Homelander. I don't care. But this man right here, he is a smart man. He is a smart fucking man. And I'm going to say something right now. When it's all said and done, because let me tell you something. Cody Rhodes, probably the most underappreciated wrestler in the modern era. Out of every fucking body. Because we hear people, talk about, this guy is underrated, this guy is underrated, this guy is underrated. Now, there's underrated, there's overrated, but then there's underappreciated. And Cody is definitely under fucking appreciated. And I'm going to say this, and you guys can disagree with me or not, but when it's all said and done and Cody does retire, he's going to be considered one of the all-time best.
Love Cody, guys. I knows that.
I'm just going to list off a couple of things Cody has done in his short career here in AEW. Purposefully took himself out of the ranking system for the AEW World Championship. Put over Brody Lee. Constantly put over Darby Allin to the point he gave Darby Allin the TNT Championship. gave Malachi Black one of the strongest debuts, one of the strongest anything he's had in well over a few years at this point. And look, I get it. Like, people kind of like, they don't like his promo style. You know, sometimes his matches can get a bit repetitive, and sometimes you think that the people who should have gone over and all that.
And here's one of the things, and you might disagree with me. I had no trouble with Anthony Gogo losing to Cody. Because here's the thing. That was Anthony Gogo's third ever match.
And he hasn't been on TV
since. Of course he's going to lose. If we look at this in a professional way, who do you think is going to win in a professional fight? The guy who has experience versus the guy who's, you know, he's in his third match. Yes, he's an Olympic boxer and blah, 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 this. But it's experience versus, you know, that. And I'll say this. I'm not, when the whole thing was going on, I'm not an Anthony Gogo guy. I'm just going to say it right there. That whole fucking QT Cody feud fucking dragged the fuck on. I fucking hated that goddamn feud. But I did not care, but I did not mind that, you know, Cody went over Anthony Gogo.
And this is where I was going, like, I'm not even going to disagree with you, because Cody does need to win feuds like that. He does need to, like, especially as, like, feuds against QT Marshall. And, you know, say what you want about Anthony Gogo, but if all those wins were leading to this, then that's exactly what it needed to happen. Because you can't just have this happen with every single dude. You gotta pick and choose your spots with these guys, which is why it is so important to have a guy like Cody Rhodes, who is so protected, who gets wins constantly, is what AEW is so good at, is making sure that these wins and losses matter to a T, so that when these guys lose, and they lose in the fashion that they do lose in, that it comes into a shock and it gets the other guy over, which is what happened here with Malachi Black.
And now Malachi, just from one match alone, feels like one of the biggest guys in the company now.
Yeah.
And that was a short match.
Mm-hmm.
Short fucking match. Cody did the Brody thing again. And just like that night, when Brody did to him, you know, Brody instantly felt like a megastar.
Yep.
And Malachi instantly feels like a megastar. And which I'm going to say this, I cannot wait for Buddy to come in. Because you know that whole shtick that they're doing online and everything. You know that's building up to a Buddy Malachi feud.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone thinks it's a partnership. If you really pay attention to those vignettes and everything like that, they specifically made it clear Buddy does not play well with others.
I did see that. I'm very interested to see, because, like, I think that almost immediately showed that he's coming into AEW, which is great if that's the case. Do you have something you wanted to say, Adam, before we end this?
Adam?
Well, I guess not. Yes, my co-host has left again, so I'll just end by saying this. I thought this was another good episode of Dynamite. Again, very easy viewing, 2 hours. Got a lot of stuff moving, put a lot of people over, and just continuing to move on towards Chicago and to All Out. And it's all very looking forward to all of it, every single bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
But with that, that's going to do it for our AEW Dynamite review. We're going to go on to our news segment, which I know there's I know what everybody wants to talk about at this point, but we need to get through a few other things. More importantly, above everything, we wanted to give our condolences, because earlier this week, or last week, one beautiful Bobby Eaton had passed away.
A great tag team specialist. Part of a great faction, in the WCW variant of, the Dangerous Alliance. There's a few guys who, when they pass away, there's a few guys where you can see like so many generations come together to praise this guy, and Beautiful Bobby Eaton was one of those guys.
Yeah. On obviously, like, being born in 97, Eaton was a bit both like before my time, but even then, I've recently, like, even like a few years back, I went back to watch a few of his tag team matches that he had with other great tag teams in the past. Just very good worker. Just the synchronicity that he had with Dennis and with Jim. I thought just the chemistry they shared. It was like there's not a lot of tag teams that can replicate that, and I thought that was very good. Just you see the outpouring of just support and good stories from people on Twitter when talking about Bobby Eaton. And again, I haven't heard a single bad thing from anyone about this man, because I get from the general consensus he was one of the most sincere and one of the most nicest men in professional wrestling. And especially during that time, it says a lot, because you just hear stories every day. You don't get a lot of guys like a Bobby Eaton during that time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it comes from that era that, that's a very ruthless era. That era right there, just filled with scumbags. It was a dog eat dog, world during, his time and everything. We saw like a lot of fucked up shit, or at least we've heard, a lot of fucked up shit that has come from that era and everything. And the fact that, no one's ever had a bad thing to say about Bobby Eaton, it shows what type of man he was.
Mm-hmm. So, rest in peace, Bobby Eaton. Your legacy definitely is going to live throughout all of the other tag teams that you've influenced throughout the years. I can promise that.
Yeah.
But I guess...
Hold on.
What?
Before we get into just stuff,
yeah.
I usually save the indie spotlight for the end, but I think I'll just do it now.
All right.
A few indie spotlight. It's the indie spotlight segment. Woo! IWTV just had its big special. Its 100th defense of the IWTV Championship. We mentioned it earlier. Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia went to a 60-minute draw, with Wheeler Yuta keeping the championship. Marcus Mathers won a ladder match. He currently now will have a shot. I think he has the next shot at the IWTV Championship. The big story coming out of that, though, is now PWI recognizes that title, and the Pan-African something World Championship are now considered world titles by Pro Wrestling Illustrated. So congratulations to IWTV on that. So that was that little segment on that. And also GCW had a show this weekend in LA. I have not gone back and watched it yet, because the time that it was airing, I was driving back from VXS. But from what I heard, the show itself was maybe considered by most GCW fans possibly the best GCW show of the year. I heard Starboy Charlie and Chris Dickinson had a fantastic match. I heard God. Dante Leone and Ninja Mac decided to just fucking use the entire arena for their jumping and flippy shit. Marco Stunt got murdered by Ricky Shane Page by getting tossed off of a balcony. And then I also heard that the tag team title match between the Second Gear Crew and Bussy, the team of Alley Catch and Effie, was fucking insane, to a point where Alley pulls a knife on Matt Justice at one point while he's handcuffed to a rope.
Well, so
Go out of your way to watch GCW. Also, X-Pac, this is the other big news. X-Pac was on commentary for that show and pretty much stated that he wants a match in GCW.
He was on commentary for the Starboy Charlie versus Chris Dickinson match, which I thought was very appropriate.
Oh, so did you watch the show?
I watched a part of it. I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I watched, I did watch the Starboy Charlie versus Chris Dickinson match. Phenomenal match. AJ Gray and Lee Moriarty had a fantastic opener. What was his name? ASF and Jimmy Lloyd had a very, very good match on that show as well. I have to still go back and watch the rest of it. From what I've seen, very, very good show.
Yeah. So I like the venue that they were in looked really cool. But yeah, so X-Pac pretty much on commentary stated he wants a match in GCW. That's a spring break match if I haven't heard one. So yeah, that's about it though for the Indie Spotlight, because the other Indie Spotlight thing we're gonna be covering. So but also JCW this Sunday. It's free on YouTube at 3:00 on the Game Changer YouTube page. Jersey Championship Wrestling will present Battle Bowl. The WCW tradition comes to Jersey in the form of Jersey Championship Wrestling's Battle Bowl. As of right now, I think 16 competitors have been announced. There might be more within the rest of the week before that show. I will be there live, so we're probably going to cover it in some capacity. I don't know if I'll get Zechariah to watch that show. But some good names on that show. As aforementioned, Marcus Mathers, Dylan McCoy, Billy Starks, Hollow, Wicked, Frightmare, Ken Broadway, Everett Connors, and a bunch of other big names. Grim Reaper, Jimmy Lloyd. Big stacked amount of people. All you know, Battle Bowl. It's random tag teams, and they all converge into a battle royal. The winner's gonna win a Battle Bowl ring. We don't know what the significance of the ring is yet, but catch that. That's free. 3 p.m. Eastern on Game Changer Wrestling's YouTube channel, free to the public. Go out of your way, watch some independent wrestling. You'll have a good time. And that's about it for my Indie Spotlight this week.
And now with that, it's time to get into the stuff that we've all...
Welcome back to the Released Ranch!
Oh my god.
We talk about releases for like the 8th week in a row!
We just
did this last week!
We just did this. Fuck. So, for those...
13 men and women... Well, not 13 men and women.
So...
But 13 men and one woman?
I believe so.
Were fired from NXT. Now, we'll go through the releases real quick, because this is a much bigger issue with NXT than just these people getting released, and I guess that'll be the big crux of our news here.
Which we will go into.
But run down the names real quick. I assume you have them all?
I do. The names that were released from WWE on Friday afternoon.
During
SmackDown. The names featured Bronson Reed, Bobby Fish, Mercedes Martinez, Leon Ruff, Tyler Rust, Jake Atlas, Ari Sterling, Kona Reeves, Zechariah Smith, Asher Hale, Giant Zangier, and Stefan Smith.
Well, where do we start that we haven't already started?
Fucking... Bronson was just about to be brought up.
Tyler Rust is involved in the Diamond Mine.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Wasn't one of them a part of a brand new fucking faction?
Yes!
Yeah. Leon Ruff and Ari were both on 205 Live that same night.
Night!
Well, no, not just that, but Leon Ruff's match dubbed on that night was The Return of Leon Ruff.
Oh my god.
Yeah, going back to what I mentioned earlier, Alex Zane, welcome back to the Indies. You've been missed. The Sauce God is back. Taco Bell, blaze it. I hope him and Juvi are fighting in Detroit, because that just sounds amazing. Yay, Alex Zane is back. But yeah, what the fuck? Jake Atlas, another talent guy they never even had a shot with. By the way, as of right now, including Nigel McGuinness. There are 5 men on the 205 Live roster. One of them being Brian Kendrick, who I thought got fired.
He's
already.
not. He's not a ret. He's retired. He works backstage.
Oh, so then there are 3 active men on that roster. One of them being Santos Escobar, who's never on it. And then the other 2 being Ikemen Jiro and somebody else that I can't even remember. So, yay, 205 Live is dead. This show is canceled now, right?
It can't continue. It literally can't. You have no one.
You have no cruiserweight division anymore.
No.
If anything, just retired the belt then.
Yes.
Because what's the fucking point of having a cruiserweight division when you have, like, what, 1 or 2 people left?
And apparently, from the looks of it, that might not change anytime soon. But fucking Bronson Reed, former North American champion, was scheduled to be brought up. Bobby Fish, a part of the most popular faction in that brand's history. The most popular. Like, bar none. Mercedes Martinez, probably one of the best women's wrestlers they have on that entire fucking brand. Let alone on NXT.
Mercedes Martinez, who has a very good reason to actually sue this company due to the fact that she was fired while still dealing with a concussion that she sustained on NXT TV. So, yeah.
Then you go down the list. Leon Ruff, former North American champion, like you said, just brought back to television. Tyler Rust, again, new guy, was supposed to be like this new fucking rookie of a part of Malcolm Bivens' Diamond Mine group, which is, I don't even know what the heck's going to happen with that anymore.
Well, it's Malcolm Bivens and Roddy and the Asian dude who doesn't wrestle.
Hideki Suzuki.
He doesn't do anything.
I know. Then you got Jake Atlas, and I feel bad for Jake because,
fired on his 5-year anniversary of being a wrestler.
Dude, that sucks. That really sucks. Ari Sterling, Alex Zane, he already fucking said it himself. Alex Zane and Anthony Henry, the former now Asher Hale, never even got a fucking chance to get off the goddamn floor in 205 Live or NXT. Kona Reeves, he spent a lot of time down in developmental, he's just a guy, even if you didn't really have much of a presence there. He was there long enough that you would know about him. So in that case, it kind of sucks. I thought, for what it was worth, I thought at times he could be entertaining. I just don't think he ever found his footing, which sucks. I'm not entirely sure who the last 3 guys, Zechariah Smith, Giant Zangier, or Stefan Smith are, but
Zechariah, also Desmond Troy was also fired on Friday as well. He was another NXT guy who had been there for a bit now. He also wrestled under his real name, Denzel Desjardins. Zechariah Smith was one of their prospects, which is weird because I think he was a tall guy, but he's over 30. So they let him go, just like they let EJ and Duca go, who I just saw in MLW in that Battle Riot, and that dude's got something. So I don't know what the fuck this company's doing. Giant Zangier was on that India show that they did. If you remember that show.
I do.
I don't remember what he was, whatever. And Stefan Smith was a referee. Stefan Smith, you will know as the NXT Black Ref.
Mm-hmm.
So he was fired. But I mean, it's just we'll kill NXT because clearly we're about to talk about what the hell this was all a part of to begin with. But just to go back to Bronson, what the fuck?
You know what? What Bronson responded with was just perfect. You know what? He was like, you know what? You fuckers are gonna do this to me. I'm gonna make you all regret that.
Yeah.
And he is. And remember, he's got an NXT contract deal, so he's free in 30 days.
He said, just got released by the WWE. You have no idea what you've just done letting this monster on loose. And in the tweet, he tagged every big AEW, New Japan, Impact, and Ring of Honor. So, like, a dude like Bronson Reed, you can bet your ass that motherfucker has options. Like,
oh. No, see, that's the thing. Like, most of these guys, Jake Atlas is going to do fine. He'll go back to the Indies. Alex Zane is going to do fucking gangbusters back in GCW. They're going to love to have him back. And I think Alex Zane could easily show up in Impact and be a great addition to the X Division.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, and like, and you look at somebody like Bobby or Mercedes.
Mercedes, I think she's going to be AEW bound.
I feel like Mercedes and Bobby, while I don't see much that they can do on screen at this point.
But what they're going to be good for is
backstage stuff.
Yeah.
Bobby and Mercedes can easily be amazing trainers for any of these companies. Great producers, great just like veteran presence for some of these people to get. Bobby is a very underappreciated and underrated wrestler. I've always liked Bobby Fish. And Mercedes is a wealth of knowledge for all of these young women because she's been doing the indies her whole life pretty much. So everybody's going to be fine. It's just the bigger story here is the fuck is happening. I mean, really at this point it's obvious.
Well, you know what? No,
but
I'll tell you exactly. Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what's happening because it was made perfectly clear during the Wrestling Observer radio.
Oh, also, as of right now, Adam Cole has still yet to resign.
Yeah.
And from what I'm hearing, he was offered a $1 million contract, and they're up. They are now the board members and Vince are, or which really is just Bruce, John, and Vince, are essentially thinking that Adam Cole is ungrateful to them for not accepting the contract yet. Ungrateful. You just fired people.
Adam,
and one of those people happens to be one of his closest friends.
Adam, you need
now, like we said last week, obviously Adam Cole's got friends everywhere. But like, I just watched a clip a few hours ago before doing this of like his reaction on Twitch when he was live and he got the news that Tyler Breeze was fired, and that was really hard to watch.
Yeah.
So, like, if he resigns, whatever happens to him, he deserves it then. But I hope Adam Cole is a smarter guy. But then again, I don't know. He might be blinded by Sean. And
did you see what Carl Anderson wrote on Twitter?
No.
When it was someone said that they had offered him Adam $1 million. He wrote down a tweet like him in a conversation that Doc had is like, we should probably ask them for a no cut in our contract. And Gallows, and I think this was like back when they were just getting re-signed, is like, we don't need it. And he's like, now look what happened. I'm just saying, Carl knows what's up. And if Adam's smart, and which I really think that he is, he'll know what was up.
And Pete Dunne has also yet to re-sign as well.
Yeah. I think he's going to re-sign. I don't know. Again, I just don't know if he doesn't re-sign, what's for him? What is there for him?
I mean, honestly, I think a lot of guys are going to question that because right now their future isn't certain. Because you can re-sign. Yeah, they could just re-sign. They could re-sign Pete Dunne like today. In 3 months from now, he could easily get released. Like nothing's guaranteed anymore.
Right.
And
unless right now you're either Roman Reigns or Bobby Lashley, and I don't think even Bobby's
or any of the people that don't even work here full fucking time.
Yeah. I don't think even Bobby's safe.
No. I don't know.
It seems like when it comes to NXT, the only two guys that are safe are Gargano and Ciampa. Which, to all the people now who are blaming them for all of this, like,
No,
where did that come from?
all right, no. See, here's the thing.
Like, where did that come from?
The whole
Like,
thing got blown way out of proportion. Somebody on Twitter, I think it was Aaron Rift of NoDQ, is like, if you were a fan of NXT, what was the jumping of the shark moment for you? Somebody had written down, like, and I actually agree with them. It was back when they were doing this whole rivalry with Gargano and Ciampa, and how it just pretty much turned into Triple H versus HBK 2.0. Because that's exactly what it was. And then everybody on Twitter, of course, as it is, misread that and thought the dude was blaming Gargano and Ciampa for ruining NXT, which is not at all what was being said. Again, it was Twitter taking shit out of context because, of course, that's what Twitter always fucking does.
That makes sense.
But, it's like you said, like, people really do need to start looking at this. Because apparently, if anything from the Wrestling Observer Radio is supposed to be believed, these guys are in some deep shit right now.
We are going back to legitimate developmental territory. No more, and these are Dave's words from, I guess, the WWE's words.
These are Dave's words. Dave's words from what he says Vince said.
And no more midgets, and no more people over 30. We are going back to making stars and main event attractions. And yep,
no more midgets. No more midgets, huh?
We're back to let's sign bodybuilders and the Great Khali, and let's do that. And also, NXT is going to be changing with a new logo. Ooh, new logo. New lighting. New, I guess, the way that the show is produced. And from other accounts, it seems that also it might be going back to 1 hour. USA is fucking pissed, as they rightfully should be, because how the hell how can anybody get invested in a show when literally the next week they could be fired?
Mm-hmm. Oh, because what it is if the rumors are be true, they're about to sell the fucking company.
I've said it since we goddamn started this podcast. I said NBC is buying this company in 2 years, and it might be closer than I thought.
Yeah, by the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised.
And like at this point, what is NXT? Nothing. It's dead. What once was this amazing wrestling product is about to become just.
This was legitimately an alternative. This at one point was a getaway from all of the garbage that was spewing off of Raw and SmackDown. And then NXT came and said, hey, here's like an hour of just tight, packed storytelling wrestling with some indie guys that you might have watched back in the day on our roster. Give us a try. And it worked! It worked for a good while. And
yeah, it did. And then, AEW came in.
And they lost it.
And WWE's response wasn't, let's keep pushing what we're pushing. It was, nope, now you have to fight this, and you got this, and Vince got his fucking grubby little hands in there. And clearly he saw the writing on the wall for himself being, oh no, oh, you guys lost to them? Well, that means now I have to take over now. Sorry, Hunter.
Yeah, by the way, Triple H, Shawn, pretty much gone at this point.
Yeah, they were not informed or had anything to do with any of the releases. It was all Bruce Pritchard, John Laurinaitis, and Vince McMahon. So again, to all the people that are like, Tony Khan is what's killing, it's like, no, he's just doing his fucking job.
No, what it is.
It's all Vince. It's all, at the end of the day, it's Vince.
Johnny's back in his seat. Bruce Pritchard's being a little bitch, and Vince McMahon's being Vince.
But the other scary part that people are now starting to bring up as well is, what does this also mean for the women of NXT?
Well,
Are we about to go back to Kelly's?
we're about to go back to divas.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. It's literally like we're going backwards now. And
No, we're going backwards because in Vince's mind, that's what made business for him. So instead of going forward and progressing, we go backwards and digress. The only good thing that comes out of this is, oh yeah, cool, NXT's back to an hour. An hour of fucking ECW again?
It's pretty much just going to be what ECW became.
Yay, Ricky Ortiz.
Fuck!
And if you look at the roster, somebody did like a whole like spreadsheet, going over the NXT's men and males roster and the women's roster by enforcing the two rules, the no more midgets and the no more over 30. And I believe out of like the 30-something people that are left on the NXT roster, like maybe 9 of them fit that criteria. And as for the women, which is already a much smaller roster of like 15, like 4 of them fit the criteria. I don't know. I don't know.
It's sad. It really is sad because nobody wanted this. Like, I know that there are a lot of people that don't like what NXT have become, and I am obviously one of them. But like 5, 6 years ago, this was my favorite thing. Well, behind New Japan, this was my favorite thing to watch in wrestling.
It was the shit. It was what everybody was wanting. It was like, cool, we get wrestling back on TV. People would wait with bated breath for these takeovers. And this next takeover is the end of the NXT era.
Like, you have no idea how much I would have loved to just get, like, if I were going to start a podcast back at that time, I would have loved to just jump on and talk about Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Bayley and Sasha and Becky and Charlotte and Finn and...
Well, even after that, yeah, like the Shinsuke's and the Bobby Roods and the early Undisputed Era and Andrade... And like Sanity and Cassius Ohno and Nikki Cross and Asuka killing it.
I would have loved to come on back in that day and talk about that.
But like I said, go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, everyone who's having their contracts coming up right now, I'm almost guaranteed a lot of people are not going to resign because they're seeing the writing on the wall because they know that their jobs aren't secured.
It's why I want you want these things, but it's like who knows if it'll ever happen. But like I wish there was another AEW right now. Like another big wrestling company on a big channel that could get all of these guys, and we have a second AEW running alongside the already existing AEW to combat all of this. Because if Impact just had a fucking good ass TV deal, they could be in that position. We don't
even need like another AEW. If Impact can get on something at least a little bit better, then there's another home for people.
MLW, which is on Vice, which a lot of people have Vice. Once they're back, because I think they're slowly now going to start getting back into the live event deal. I think they're going to Detroit or something for War Chamber. So they're going to be back on it. Obviously there's plenty of independent companies. GCW is, like I said, it's the best independent company going today. They love bringing in as many people as they can. New Japan, obviously, is a great home. ROH is trying. But I was making it clear to a friend of mine when we were talking about this. And I think ROH is the perfect example on a small scale of what's going to happen to the WWE when instead of a wrestling promoter owns you, a conglomerate owns you. Because you see that ROH can't get its goddamn foot off the ground because Sinclair runs that fucking company. Mm-hmm. And if Sinclair's like, you're on our channel and our channel only, and we're going to put you on at any time of the day we want to because it doesn't fucking matter. And you look at that and you think, wow, when NBC owns WWE, it's going to be just like this, but on a much bigger scale.
Yep.
Watch, I can already predict, like, watch them be like, NBC owns it, so then SmackDown clearly can't be on Fox anymore. I wouldn't be fucking surprised if they make SmackDown a Peacock exclusive and only Raw gets to be on TV. And watch, maybe they put Raw on like NBC's main channel, but it'll be so diluted from what it already once was, and they're not going to give a shit because they already know they're going to make the money off of just the brand itself. And I was like, wow, wow, this ROH comparison is so scary because this is a much bigger company and also another much bigger television network controlling it. And that's what's going to happen. This WWE that we used to know and love is, once NBC buys them, because at this point, that's where I'm heading, and I'm sticking with it. Say goodbye, because it's no longer going to be WWE. It's going to be such a nostalgia act. That's what I think is going to happen. NBC is going to thrive off of the fact that, like, let's just make this a nostalgic-based thing. People are already predicting the possibility of NBC buying them out and John Cena and Randy Orton going after the world title again to see who gets the 17th world title. Which, honestly, I'd take over what the fuck happens on most Raws and SmackDowns anyway nowadays. But that's not what I should be thinking.
It's just, it just sucks. It's very, it's a very sad situation because it just comes back to the fact where it's like, with everything that's going so well in wrestling up to this point in 2021, like, you just hate to see that there's this company with people that you actually like, and they're just struggling. They're just struggling, and you can see it. You can see it.
You know, it doesn't help with the stupid booking decisions that they do. I mean, I know we're talking about NXT, but my God, there was this Zelina Vega thing on SmackDown was so fucking stupid. Where she demands a title shot against Bianca, yet Zelina is like 0-4. But she's granted a shot to fight Bianca for a title opportunity. The bitch is 0-4. What?
It's just a very sad state of affairs of what's going on. It's just really sad, you know.
It is.
It's just really sad. It's
Takeover. Oh, go ahead.
Seeing a company for a lot of us, which was probably our first introduction into wrestling for a lot of people, was the WWE.
Yeah.
And just seeing what it's become and where it's going, it's just sad. It's just really fucking sad.
Hunter lost. It's official. There is no more like war. The war is over, and AEW, I guess, won, but ultimately Vince McMahon won.
Yeah.
Because now he gets to have his hands in another company that he
I don't
runs.
even think AEW, because AEW didn't want this. They didn't want a war.
No, they didn't.
They just wanted to exist, but they were put in a situation where, because of who runs the fucking company, they were put in a situation where they had to compete. And because of that...
But they didn't. That's the fucked up part, is they didn't have to compete.
They didn't, no, but again, WWE was like, alright.
They lost hard.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake, NXT still, even on a different night, can't get past 500 in the ratings. And they're not even going up against AEW anymore. That just is just showing how much the brand that used to be this amazing company has just become just another WWE brand. Yeah. Where everybody is just a guy who wins, or they lose, or they go 50-50 into booking, and it's the same 4 guys, and nothing matters. This takeover is going to be the end of the NXT that people love.
It's an end of an era. It's a literal end of an era.
Because I assume Samoa Joe's going to win the belt, but who even knows how long that'll last?
I mean, I think. Let me find it. It was just, yeah. I think the best way to describe this is what Hakeem posted about it. This is pretty much NXT's Barry Legal 2001, where that was the final show of ECW.
Mm-hmm.
And this next takeover is the final takeover of the Triple H era.
Because once that show is done, this whole fucking NXT thing is going to change, and it's not going to be for the better.
No.
And if anything, even if, whoever the current champions are or anything, they could easily just vacate all the belts.
They could.
And they could go just down to just one belt. They could retire the tag team, the women's, and the North American, and the Cruiserweight title, just like that.
Yep. So,
because it's 1 hour and everything, so they don't need all those belts.
So I guess all I can really say at this point is thanks NXT for the memories. Some of my favorites came from the fucking Bayley, Sasha, Sammy winning his some of the greatest moments in wrestling to me came from that brand. So
Heyo.
Yep.
Samoa Joe's debut, the Undisputed Era's debut.
And the thing is, the only thing that's going to remain, I don't know, because I don't know what they're going to do with the other one. The only thing that's going to remain, I guess, any fond memory of old NXT is NXT UK. But I have no idea what the fuck they're going to do with that.
That's another thing I want to bring up. How do they keep sliding by in these?
I have no fucking idea. It's because
do they remember that it exists?
The last time I checked, the annual earnings for the people down in WWE UK was $20,000.
Oh, that's why nobody gets fired.
Yeah, they ain't paying them much.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a company that I had a lot of prospect for, but they don't promote that fucking thing for crap. They promote 205 Live better than they promote UK.
There's
a UK title match on the goddamn TakeOver. I
found out that Walter and Ilya are having their championship match on TakeOver because of the Solid Monster podcast. I had no idea that match was even happening.
Because they're like, oh wow, this match did really good. We're going to put it in front of fans because we can't have fans in the UK at the moment because the UK is still COVID fucked up. But what the fuck?
Yeah, it's I don't know. It sucks. I honestly can't. I don't know what else to say other than thanks NXT.
I will always remember
the great memories.
Being in the crowd for TakeOver Brooklyn, the first one, and I will remember that show so fondly. So, thank you for that memory alone, to get to see not just Liger in the W, but the obvious Bayley and Sasha match, and to watch the Demon in that ladder match. That is a really good ladder match that nobody remembers.
So, yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I don't know. There was really no other news this week but that.
Yep. And so with that, I guess it's time to head on over to Violence and Suffering Wrestling. We're just going to quickly talk about this. We're not going to go as in-depth as we did with our AEW Dynamite review.
Now, Jason, I gave you the link earlier today. How much of it were you able to get through?
I was able to get through at least most of the first half. I at least got to see the Dr. Cube shit.
Oh.
Because goddamn, I love Dr. Cube.
Yeah!
I look, I love that campy shit. I love that campy shit. And seeing Dr. Cube again was just like, holy shit.
All right.
Now, Zahai, did you watch the bootleg at all?
What bootleg?
Okay, so that's a no. Their pre-show that they put on YouTube is called the bootleg.
Oh no, I did not watch that.
Of course, I was there live.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go through the pre-show and the first match because I didn't catch the first match and I forgot to go back and watch it.
Because I was there live and it was hot as fuck. There was from the people who saw it or have not seen it, the show took place literally in a training facility for one of the local promotions that they were working out of for that night. The venue itself, cool. I love that like grungy like style. All the walls were like painted black and cool strobe lighting effects. The fact that it was hot as hell. The best fact being that the only bit of food that they had was a legit deep fryer in the corner with chicken tenders in it. So that was awesome. It's the whole night smelt of weed and chicken tenders. So, and also the best part of the show during the intermission, Mr. Softy showed up. So that was sick. I got ice cream and awesome wrestling. So good night for me. And I got to meet Joel Gertner. So also a good night for me. So, on the bootleg, our first match, we saw Chris Barton. He took on Black G's, who people would know as Sabian, when he part of the original Blackout in CZW, former CZW World Champion, currently in the NWA. He was in this match. This was a fun little match. It was a big man, little man type of deal. Chris Barton, you will see later in the Dr. Q match, he was one of the people that came out to help Gabe, and then we'll talk about the aftermath of that as well. Black G's picked up the victory in that with a beautiful frog splash. So that was that. The third match was a traditional VXS three-way match. It was Tristan Ty, Dominic De Niro, and TJ Crawford. All three of those men made it onto the main card in some capacity during the night as well. Again, a fun little, like, quick-paced triple threat match. Tristan Ty picked up the victory in that with a really sick kick. I think he pinned Dominic De Niro in that one. That was it for the pre-show. There was like a half-hour intermission before the main show started. So that was your buy-in, essentially, before we made it onto the main card. For VXS's Party All the Time, a very much an 80s disc like dancey type feel for the night. What the hell was the opening?
You were at the show. Do I have to look this shit up for you?
Oh no, it was Lucky 13's Open Challenge.
Okay.
Lucky 13, who I'm a big fan of, also a CZW like mainstay, who's been killing it lately on the independent scene, came out and addressed to the crowd that originally his Open Challenge was supposed to be Ruckus. But Ruckus is apparently hurt, so Ruckus wasn't there, which was kind of upsetting because I was like, oh shit, I would have got to see Ruckus. That would have been awesome. Instead, Big Vin showed up. Now, Azai, do you have any idea who Big Vin is?
No idea.
Okay, well, did you watch the Backyard Wrestling show at all from this year?
Nope.
Oh, well, you should have. It was fantastic. Big Vin is exactly as it sounds. He's a big fucking guy. And he's like new-ish to the main wrestling like scene in the indies. He's been like training and stuff. Like, you probably see him all the time as like a ring crew guy for GCW or any of the East Coast independent feds.
Mm-hmm.
He had, like I said, he had the traditional, just like the Barton and Black G's match, big guy, little guy dynamic with him and Lucky. Lucky ended up getting the victory in this match. Big Vin was very impressive. He has this really sick. He's on the ring apron in like a fall away slam type deal, but instead of just like chucking the guy over, he like Kane flips himself backwards and then splashes the guy with like a World's Strongest Slam, which is really sick. He's not green, but he's clearly not like polished yet.
Oh, we'll talk about someone who's green as shit after this match.
So, the match itself was fine. Jason, any thoughts since you saw this one?
I thought it was pretty good, for what it was. I really want to check the two guys out after that, that's pretty much all I gotta say about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jason here will be our little outsider perspective for this one, since he's not as accustomed to the East Coast independent scene. So we got him to watch some of this to see what an outside perspective would have to feel about it. So yeah, a fun little opener. The crowd was really hot for it. Big Vin chants, because like I said, Vin is like pretty much like a known guy as like the ring crew dude. So him being now in the ring and getting to wrestle, the fans are clearly on his fucking side. And so was I. And Lucky 13 rules, I've said that enough. So that was a fun little opening match. The second match on the show was a triple threat match. Not originally a triple threat. Matt Cross was supposed to fight Moose.
No, it wasn't. This was not the second match of the night. No, this was... I know what the second match of the night was, because this is
the second match it's Dr. Cube and Sky.
Uh-huh.
This match fucking ruled.
I fucking loved it.
No.
Yes.
No.
And being there live was phenomenal. If you can catch me on the replay, I am in the Blue World Order t-shirts. The highest that he couldn't see me.
You were legitimately like 5 feet. 5 foot, nothing.
You can see me in so many obvious points of the show. I am the only one in a blue t-shirt.
Fucking.
This match kicked ass. I love just a car crash hardcore match. And that's what these guys had, was a car crash hardcore match. What an awesome fucking spot that I was literally like 2 inches away from, with the giant balcony spots.
Alright, let me say this for this match.
Why don't you like this match?
Did I hate all of it? Absolutely not. Was there some cool spots and some cool moments in this match? Absolutely. Can't deny that. However, there are so many problems with not just this match, but with just the production alone. About 3 times.
I can't.
Well, that's where I come in, Adam. Because about 3 times, the audio became out of sync. I lost hearing in my left headphone because the audio was cutting in and out. We lost the signal to the fight feed at least twice during this fucking match. The audio was at least 5 seconds out of sync. This was torture!
Oh. Well, Jason got to watch the replay where it was probably not like that, so we did not have the experience you had.
Yeah.
It was so bad. I'll admit, there's some crazy ass shit in this match. I believe, fucking... Was it Cube or Sky that did, the fucking dive onto all the chairs and shit? I think it was Cube who did it.
I think it was Cube.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then there's
he dove. Yeah. Over by the chicken tenders.
Fucking. He did a cool spring. Cube also did a cool springboard code breaker. I thought looked.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Well. Yeah, he also hit a 6 spear as well.
Yeah. Again, Dr. Cube still killing it all these years later.
But it's after that is where this match just completely loses.
Well, yeah, then of course, what's the running, the running thing for Dr. Cube is his nurses. Right,
but here's the thing. The last time I saw this, it didn't go this long. It lasted about 2-3 minutes. The guys got beat up, and that was the end of it.
Well, I want to make it clear that I feel like this was probably a little bit longer due to the fact that, there was another match that was supposed to be on this show Everett Connors was supposed to take on Ken Broadway. Everett Connors had to pull out like a few days beforehand for personal reasons, and instead of an 8-match card, this ended up just being a 7-match card. I feel like this match might have got a little bit extra time because of that. It's a clear, like, it's not like a feud between these two. It's like a small thing.
They said it was a blood feud on commentary multiple times.
They're building building Cube up as a huge, like, monster bad guy for VXS. This has kind of been his thing for a little bit now, between the triple threat thing that we saw last time, the shit he did with JTG in Florida, and then, of course, building to the aftermath with the Gabe Sky heel turn. But the match itself, I mean, like I said, there's a spot where they end up going into a corner that I was in, and my chair got destroyed because of it. So that sucked. But then I got my chair back. Where all of the nurses gathered around, and Gabe Sky is at the top of this balcony, which was pretty fucking sick. I have amazing footage of it. And then Dr. Cube shows up from behind, and they're going at it. And then Gabe Sky throws Dr. Cube down.
And
this shit made me laugh. They catch him, and they start, and like he starts like, yeah, like they're like crowd surfing him, which got a real good chuckle out of me. Like all the nurses were like cheering and stuff, like, yeah, we caught him. And then Gabe Sky says, nah, fuck that, and just dives onto all of them. What a great fucking visual, especially being there live. I mean, again, this was not a big arena, so like you were near everything really. So seeing that was really sick. And then they get back in the ring. A ladder gets involved.
Yeah, he does like a fucking corner drop kick from a ladder. That was pretty dope.
Gabe Sky takes 3. It's Dr. Cube takes 3 really mean chair shots. Or was it Gabe? Was it Gabe?
I'm pretty sure it was
Cube. It was Gabe. Gave like 2 really mean chair shots, goes in for a third one, gets green misted instead.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. And then sets Gabe up in the corner with like the chair facing outward with the legs, goes to the top of the ladder, and hits like a coast to coast, which was awesome looking.
After that, Sky is about to hit Cube with the chair, but he gets stopped again by 2 dudes named Argus and fucking Big Calyx. And then...
Oh, that was the guy's name. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I was there, and Dr. Cube only mentioned, this is Big Calyx. And I'm like, well, who the fuck's the other guy?
Well, the other guy's name was, I believe it was Argus. That's what they said on commentary.
Now, I've seen these guys before in Chikara, and I think they work for Camp Leapfrog, really, at the moment.
I just love that name. Camp Leapfrog.
Yeah. Before they showed up, Chris Barton, Tristan Ty, and Dominic De Niro, who
I just wrote down Sky's friends.
Yeah, that was the Tristan Ty and Gabe Sky were a tag team in CZW. Sky's the Limit, I think, was their name.
Boo!
And they were coming up as a big team, and then Tristan Ty got hurt, and then CZW stopped, and the pandemic all happened. So they never really got a chance to really do much as a tag team, and clearly they're not going to be doing anything now either because of what happens afterwards.
They didn't leave much of an impression on me.
They came out, they pretty much fight with the nurses, which gives the distraction for Big Calyx and Argus to come on in and help Dr. Cube win.
Yeah, at the end, Cube pretty much hits him with the rolling elbow and a German. Sky tries to get up, but he gets taken out with the lariat, and that's the 3. After the
I love this match.
Look, I love Dr. Cube. I love Dr. Cube.
I like Dr. Cube too. This went on for way too long though. Especially because I had to sit through a fucking promo after this. So after the match,
I will say what happens after did go a little too long.
Sky cuts a promo talks about killing himself for
He
VXS.
cuts a you people promo.
He says, I'm no one's favorite. Nobody likes me. He talks about how fucking Oliver and Jimmy aren't even here. They're at the other show. One of his friends comes out. Do you know who came out?
That was Dominic De Niro.
Yeah, Dominic comes out, tries to calm him down. It looks like Sky's about to leave, and then he kicks Dominic right in the head. Gives him a chair to the back.
Gets him a concerto.
Yeah, and then a sandwich double foot stomp with the chair in between his head.
Which looked so sick.
That looked pretty good. And then after that, it's like they tell him to leave, and they're like, "Oh, it's finally over." Nope, he goes after another guy, hits him, then he finally leaves. This segment in total went on for 30 minutes. This went on for
wow, it was that long.
30 fucking minutes, bro.
Again, being there live, you lose track of time.
Oh.
I do agree. I feel like the aftermath, especially with the security guard guy, I felt like was not needed. But, I guess they have big plans for Sky as this big heel. I assume he's going to tussle with Jimmy and Jordan at some point. So, look, all in all, I thought it was very effective. And the match itself, like I said, I love a death match, but I also do love just a traditional, car crash hardcore match. And that's what this was.
I guess. After that...
Now, when I was messaging you, because I was there live, I was messaging you, and you seemed very off about this match. Now, clearly I see why, because it seemed like technical issues were the bigger issue for you.
Yeah, I guess more than anything, it was that. But it did not help that this went on for as long as it did. Because, Jesus Christ, that went on for a long while.
The match after this was the triple threat match.
This was a pretty solid triple threat, I will say.
Now, like I said, Moose was supposed to fight Matt Cross. Did they reference anything on commentary why Moose wasn't there? Did they mention it at all?
No.
Is Moose hurt?
I don't think so.
All right, so maybe he just couldn't make it, I guess.
Maybe he just...
So instead, Matt Cross took on two of the best upcomers and also seemed to be... hey, we're in a pinch and we need a match. We throw Marcus Mathers and Dylan McKay into it.
Sure.
Because that's what happened last VXS show. They were thrown into a random match against each other. Of course, their big prospects in the H2O promotion, which is Matt Tremont's promotion that he runs. Like I said, Marcus Mathers now the next contender for the IWTV title. Both of them representing, or at least Marcus Mathers representing Big Starks brand. Of course, I always like to support the Big Starks brand. What? What?
No, I was just repeating what you said.
Yeah, Big Starks brand, big fans. Of all the people that are part of that, Calvin Tankman, Lee Moriarty, Mike Bennett now. Of course, Billy Starks, the focal point of it all.
There's a lot of cool shit in this match.
Yeah, I like that. Hey, this was, like I said, this is kind of like VXS's like bread and butter, are these like triple threat matches. And this one was good.
Yeah. Just a few things. Fucking Marcus and Dylan did like an interesting chasing the dragon type move on Matt Cross from where I think one of them hit a brainbuster with an Enziguri, which looked pretty cool.
Fucking Matt Cross with a double superplex, which was fucking crazy.
Yes. Fucking. I think it was Dylan. Yeah.
Dylan's the one in the red.
Yeah, it was Dylan. He did a fucking crash landing into the fucking corner to Marcus that looked like fucking death. The fucking release suplex.
Yeah.
He did into the corner. There was a nice DDT flatliner combo from Matt to Dylan and Marcus. A little exchange from Dylan and Marcus. Marcus messed up his flatliner the first time, but he tries it again for a second time. He hits it. Matt Cross, while Marcus was down, hits the shooting star press, gets the 3.
Which, seeing that live, because I've never seen Matt Cross live, was breathtaking.
It's near perfection.
He is so good still to this day. I mean,
Yeah.
Matt Cross just fucking rules. Jason, opinions on this triple threat?
This was pretty much the last thing I saw, because I was at work and couldn't finish it because I had customers and everything. And this goes to show that Matt Cross is fucking great.
Yeah.
Every time I get to watch a Matt Cross match, he just impresses me all the damn time. And this was no different. Matt Cross, guy who I think should have been bigger than what he is.
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess his biggest notoriety is Matt Cross, formerly known as Son of Havoc, which I fucking love this shit, Son of Havoc.
I tried starting one and nobody wanted to channel on.
But
nobody was having my Son of Havoc shit.
No. Who the fuck is that?
Matt Cross.
Yeah.
No, that's
and look, I now this is like
are you fucking trying to tell me that Son of Havoc and Matt Cross are the same person?
Well, we never said they weren't either.
Well, the all joking aside, that was actually my first introduction to Matt Cross was his time as Son of Havoc.
Yeah, mine too.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fake fans. Nobody here watched WSX.
Wait, he was on Huh?
Dude, he's M Dog 20. He was Teddy Hart's tag partner.
Oh, that's probably why I don't remember that.
Oh. Teddy Hart was so cool back then.
Anyway, I don't know.
I think what? Go ahead. What did you say?
I don't know if you saw this or not, but there was a promo after this match. You got a Nick Gage promo.
No, we did not see this.
So Nick Gage pretty much talks about how there are people saying that Gage doesn't have it anymore. Gage is going soft. And he says that from now on, he's going to be proving a lot of motherfuckers wrong. He's going to start doing that at Violence and Suffering. So a little promo package to pretty much confirm that Nick Gage is in fact coming to VXS.
Yeah, I think he's been booked twice and has had to pull out twice. The first time was because of the injury that he was dealing with, his foot injury. The second one clearly was because they wanted to keep him fresh for Cardona when he was supposed to fight Nolan Edward at the last month's VXS show. But no, I did not see this, but that sounds about right. Of course, Nick Gage is the fucking man. He's an East Coast wrestling icon at this point. Everybody wants him. And I was going to say, this is, I think, your second or third time seeing both Marcus and Dylan?
Yeah.
Have you had any different opinion changes on them?
They're still very young and green. You can pretty much see it here. Cross had to very much help them out a lot of times during this match, but for how young they are, they're still both very good. I can't wait to see what they're able to do in the future.
I think intermissions after the next match.
Yes.
Which was a pure rules match between Kevin Blackwood and Notorious 187 Homicide.
Homicide going back to his Ring of Honor roots in this one.
Yeah, Homicide wrestled.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's Homicide, and he's wrestling. And I love Homicide. And this is like my third time seeing Homicide now. Since I've seen him like twice in Impact before. I have a picture with Homicide. Great moment. This match was good.
It was pretty solid. Yeah.
This was, I don't think this touched anything compared to the pure wrestling match that was on the last month's show.
No.
But, for somebody like Homicide, who's up there in his age and isn't necessarily known for pure wrestling, I thought gave in a pretty damn good fight.
Yeah.
To Kevin Blackwood.
Well, that was the whole story, is that Kevin was pretty much well-versed grappling, all that other pure wrestling garbage. Meanwhile, Homicide had to pretty much take shortcuts and able to keep up with Mr. Blackwood here. Had to use the ring to his advantage a lot of the times. But even though he wasn't as, much of a mat-based wrestler, he still had a few tricks up his sleeve, which I thought was a very good story to tell. Very basic, but, it got the job done. There's at one point where Kevin hit like a fucking flying elbow drop from a count of 2. He tries to go for a double foot stomp, hits an Indy, but Homicide hits a fucking flying ace crusher from out of nowhere.
Again, I feel like this more or less is because Homicide isn't as well known to a lot of the mainstream people. But there's DDP and there's Randy Orton, but Homicide has one of the best RKOs ever.
Fucking great. He jumps into it. I love it.
He jumps into it. It's always so clean. He doesn't get enough credit for that crusher. He tries doing it from the top rope at one point, but Kevin's having none of that.
So, near the end of the match, Homicide tries to go for the cop killer, but Kevin cuts him off.
I was so upset. I wanted to see the cop killer.
I did too.
I was like, oh my god, I'm going to get to see the cop killer live. But that did not happen. Instead, Kevin was able to get out of that. Yeah. I believe he ended the match with a
missile drop kick.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of abrupt, but whatever. Solid match. After the match, though, Kevin looks like he's going to cut a promo, but a man by the name of TJ Crawford comes out, stops it.
Yeah, TJ. No, that's my TJ. That song was stuck in my head all fucking night.
They have a face down in the ring, which I guess signifies that they're going to have a match, which I believe the commentary said these two have already had a match in the past, and they tore that.
Yeah, they had a match a year ago in the exact same building. I believe that was at VXS's second show ever. So it looks like they're going to run it back, and I assume it'll probably be under the pure wrestling rules. The crowd was really hot for both of these men coming together. It's going to be Blonde versus Blonde, as Kevin Blackwood dubbed it. And that was what led to our intermission, in which I went and got Mr. Softy.
Yeah.
I had a milkshake, and it was delightful.
They basically just played a bunch of VSX matches while the intermission was going. After the
Right, but did you get Mr. Softy?
No, I fucking didn't, Adam.
Yeah, well, I did, and it was delightful.
That was fucking wonderful for you.
I went outside, I lit, because VXS is 420 friendly, so you're allowed to, people just smoking bongs and lighting up blunts and joints just there on the lawn during the intermission. I'm sitting down, smoking, and all of a sudden, the Mr. Softy jingle happened, and I put my blunt out so fucking fast.
But
after that we come back from the break, and it's our triple main event of the evening. And the first match is dubbed Impact versus AEW. I missed the Rich Swann entrance, upsettingly, because I was
all night long.
I was really upset I didn't get to see that in film.
Oh, that is fucking awesome. Rich Swann versus Brian Cage. This match
was
short.
Very short. I felt like they were just getting going, and then Weapon X, and
this is literally what I have here for notes. Nice curls into a fallaway slam from Cage. Bulldog from Swann. Swann tries a sunset flip for a 2, but gets his head taken off with the discus lariat. Cage hits him with the Weapon X for a win. What?
Swann had a really good flurry of kicks and stuff. He started doing what was his 9-point combo that he's been doing lately in Impact, but he wasn't able to get the full combo in.
I think part of the reason why it was so short is because Cage right now is in a top feud in AEW.
I guess you don't really want to risk.
But he had a much more but him and
I was about to say that him and Marissa had a fucking banger and they beat the shit out of each other. So I don't know.
Was this what? I mean, this could have just been like Jason said. Cage is in a big spot. Rich Swann is a big deal for Impact. Maybe they didn't want anybody to get hurt or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a rush for it because for one of the dubbed big main events, and this was a huge deal. Rich Swann returning to VXS. Brian Cage has kind of been a focal, the big outside name for VXS. is, oh, hey, we got Brian Cage. And the crowd was really hot for this going into it. Like, the all night long, Rich is dancing. Brian's like, whoa, hold on, buddy. Like, and he's not going to dance. I thought, like, this was going to... I thought at one point there was going to be, like, a dance-off between the two of them. I thought that's where we were heading. And, like, this match couldn't have been more than, 6-7 minutes?
No.
And then it was over, and I was extremely surprised. Just like the rest of the crowd was like, whoa, oh, okay,
yeah,
it's over.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, the crowd was very dead after that. They were like, wow, that wasn't... I mean, they came back for the next match, but, like, for that little bit, like, it was like, what the hell happened here? And I guess it has to be because, it's the dueling companies. They don't want to take any risks.
Yeah.
But, like, these two have fought before, so I was really hoping for, like, more.
Yeah.
And we didn't get that.
Well, you get a dark match on VSX.
Yeah, pretty much that's what it was. It was a dark match.
But after that, we get something completely different, which I thought was...
Match of the night.
The match of the night, like, bar none. Masha Slamovich taking on...
The returning Anthony Green... And I sang his whole fucking theme song.
So good, this match. So good.
Anthony Green, another guy that we talked about a few weeks ago who was just fired from the WWE. I believe this is his second or third match back in the independent scene. I think he had a match for Limitless and maybe one for Beyond.
Yes.
I know the Limitless one is definitely for sure. So this could have been his second match back. Masha, who is a huge prospect on the indies right now and a future big player for any wrestling company that picks her up.
I've only seen this woman wrestle twice, and she's already one of my favorites on the independent scene. She's so good. Like, oh my goodness.
And this match was just wrestling. Great.
There was a lot of
wrestling.
Innovative spots, especially like from like fucking Anthony. Like, he did a rope hung butterfly suplex that I've never seen before. Masha tries to go for a kick at one point, but fucking Anthony catches her with a blue thunderbolt. Like, this dude was just on
his whole did you see the promo package that they had for this match beforehand?
Yes.
I mean, that whole promo was just, he's here to prove that, he's still got it and that, all that WWE sweat is gone and he's back to show why he's a huge deal in the independent scene. And he fucking brought it.
Another cool spot in this, Masha hit Green with a knee, a Yakuza kick, a rolling cap.
Oh, I was right in front of me.
A German suplex for a count of two.
She has a beautiful German suplex.
Fucking great. Anthony does this, like, cool, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a turnabout double underhook power bomb where he's got her hooked up in the butterfly position, spins around, power bombs her down, and then turns it into a single like crap. Sounds ridiculous as I say it, but if you see it, it's ridiculous as I'm saying it.
Anthony Green is a guy that, before being signed, was already gaining a lot of steam on the independent scene for being, like, just a fucking great wrestler with a really cool gimmick of being, like, he's not Retro AG anymore. He's now the alternative. But people still are going to call him Retro AG. Like, that was his whole thing, is that he was like from the 80s. For fuck's sake, he comes out to Heaven is a Place on Earth as a theme song, which is a great fucking theme song. Which is, anytime you get a theme song that the crowd can sing along to, it's always going to make it for better. And his entrance was awesome.
Absolutely.
His entrance was awesome with the red lighting. He had sick new gear that he was debuting in those pants. He's never really worn pants before.
Looked really good.
Like, this is a guy that a lot of people said when he was let go, like, they lost out on something here. And this fucking proves it. This guy is a star. And along with Masha.
I just want to point out a few more spots in here that I liked. Masha tries to go for a Frankensteiner out of the corner, but AG counters it into an avalanche Liger bomb. It looked really sick.
Holy crap, that was... God damn, the whole ring fucking shook. I was like, holy shit.
Anthony hits a tilt-a-whirl slam, but then gets caught with a German and then a running lariat from Masha. Anthony has her up in the electric chair position. Masha reverses it into a victory roll, transitions into a fucking reverse figure 4, and gets the tap-out victory on Anthony Green. This was just great wrestling. Just really, really good wrestling here. Best thing on the show, by far.
Absolutely, my match of the night. Like I said, I loved the Cuban Sky match because idiot, dumb, hardcore brain loves idiot, dumb, hardcore match. But, you know, if I have to think about it from a perspective of, like, what is the takeaway match, it's this fucking match. And so, like, Jason, if there's anything to go back and watch that you missed, it's this match.
Yeah.
You will become an instant fan of both of these guys. Well, guys and girl. And again, it proves my point that intergender wrestling has a place in wrestling because it's just fucking wrestling. This story wasn't about guy and girl. This was wrestler and who's the better. And Masha's like the big up and coming prospect, and Anthony's like, well, that's the position that I used to have at one point, and I got to get that back, and the only way I can do it is by going up against you. And that just puts Masha over big as well. Like, it's not about man and girl. It's wrestler, and this match fucking kicked ass.
So, after that main event of the night, Willie Mack taking on Too Cold.
No, hold on. Before we get to that.
All right.
During the end of this match.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yeah.
They do a hug spot.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but the fans went around the ring and started banging on it, right?
Yeah.
And I saw on the hard cap, because I went back to see if I could be spotted.
Yeah.
And I can be spotted banging on the goddamn thing in my goddamn Blue World Order shirt, and you still can't see me?
No.
What do you mean, no? I was in the upper right corner, in the only guy in the blue shirt and the Toon Squad cap.
Fam, I don't know what to tell you. Like, grow 6 inches, maybe? Then we could talk.
I could see myself vividly.
Yeah, you could
Fuck!
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
You better notice me on Sunday.
What show are you going to Sunday?
I told you, I'm going to the Jersey Championship Wrestling.
Oh, you're going to that show. All right.
Yes, I will be there. I will be there live and in person cheering my girl Billy Starks on.
I just thought you wanted me to just watch it. But okay.
No, well, I mean, watch it. It's free.
Okay.
It's at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, it'll be free replays on YouTube afterwards. So, yeah, try and notice me there. I'll be in the Britt Baker shirt with the Coca-Cola shirt over it. Fuck.
Well, it's now time for our main event. Willie Mack
Which I also banged on the apron for at the end, but I guess you didn't notice me there either.
Willie Mack versus Too Cold Scorpio.
This match was also fucking good.
I liked how this whole match was like, Willie's like, I respect you, Too Cold, so I'm just going to try to wrestle this one straight up, man to man. And then Too Cold's like, I'm just going to kick this dude in the nuts as many times as possible. I don't give a fuck about these rules. Fuck these rules. I fucking grab a chair, I'm going to bash it over his head. That's what this match was. And yeah,
there was a spot in the crowd with a bunch of chairs where I was once again involved in, because for the second time in the night, my chair was destroyed. So, not a lot of good luck with chairs on this episode. Where Willie scoop slams Scorpio in the crowd onto a bunch of chairs while holding Scorpio underneath a chair. Scorpio has got to be what?
He's
47.
He's 55. He's 55 years old.
Yeah, and Hoovy can't go as good.
Fucking did He did a middle rope flip leg drop. Perfect. He had a picture perfect moonsault On to Willie Mack! 55!
Yeah. Too Cold's the fucking man, and he can still go. Yes, that's the story here, is that Willie Mack had to resort to using chairs because he couldn't keep up with fucking wrestling legend, Too Cold Scorpio, who's still killing it on the indies. He's so fucking cool. Too Cold is still so... I've seen him like 3 times now, and it's like... which is baffling. I can't believe I'm saying, I've seen Too Cold Scorpio wrestle 3 fucking times now in the year of 2021. And also the fact that he hasn't lost a fucking step. And he still got the cool-ass dance moves.
It's ridiculous. You know how this match goes. Willie does all of his presentation, like he does the standing moonsault. He does like the fucking. He's moving around in there like he's a fucking he's like half his size as always. Like
his frog splash is fucking incredible.
Just ridiculous athlete. Too Cold Scorpio, just as
a ridiculous athlete,
as cool as his name suggests. He's fucking great. All right, I have to be honest here. Near the end of this match, the GCW show is starting up, and
you bastard!
AJ Gray and Lee Moriarty was also opening up the show, so I might have took my eyes off of the show for about 4 minutes, and the match was over. So you're gonna have to tell me what the ending was.
Well, the story of the match was Will Scorpio hit the tumbleweed. He ends up hitting the tumbleweed. He got the victory.
Yeah.
So Scorpio beat Willie Mack. After the match, big, hugging celebration. Just like, hey man, just like, just 2 guys who are just mirror images of each other in a lot of ways. Because, Willie Mack's got that cool factor. He's got the athleticism. He's got all of what Too Cold is. Willie Mack at the start being like, I used to watch you as a kid, and now I get to wrestle you. Like, that was awesome. Again, just a continuation of just black excellence in wrestling.
Yeah! ECW, 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 ECW.
And then Brian Cage comes out. And it felt like it was leading to something. Him and Willie hug. Brian puts his arm up, and then he left. And so I assume maybe we're gonna run Willie and Brian at some point in VXS, or what's gonna happen there. And that was violence and sufferings, party all the time.
I enjoyed it. I will not say that this was a really good show. I will say that...
Compared to the other one, what do you think?
Compared to the other one, I like the other one 10 times better. But this was fine. This was a fine show. The production errors really hurt it a bit, I will say. The audio being out of sync here and there kind of messed me up a bit. But I thought Masha and Anthony brought this show to being mediocre to a pretty fine show, to say the least.
Jason, for what you saw.
From what I saw, it seemed very enjoyable. And just hearing everything that you guys were talking about, I'm definitely gonna, watch the rest of this. I love the Dr. Cube shit. I love the shenanigans with that. That's pretty much all I can say.
I continue to, I like to be, like I said, I'm the indie guy here, puts the indie spotlight. I love going to these shows, supporting all these wrestlers and these people and everything. Will I say that I enjoyed the other show better live? Yeah, sure, I can agree with that. But even being here live for this show, it's a blast. And a lot of that not just has to do with the wrestlers, but the environment and the fans. because it really does feel like a family. You know, it's not like going to, you know, any of these other, like the big wrestling company shows like an Impact or an AEW or WWE where you're surrounded by thousands of other people. These little indie shows have like such a special feeling because, you know, all of these people have been following all of these wrestlers, and all of these fans are in these giant groups of people, and they all treat this like family, and they're all having a fucking fun time, and there's not one sad face in the house, and everybody's in on it. And, you know, you have like Too Cold and Rich Swann and shit coming out, and the Anthony Green thing, and everybody's singing along, and everybody's up on their feet, and they're dancing and shit. I was doing the same thing. I met a few people from this show that I've now become like friends with because of it, you know, outside of it, other people that I go with. You know, it's just a great environment. And, you know, again, a show like this, it's not top class. It's not the greatest fucking show ever, but it has something special about it. And it's the environment. It's the people. It's the guy who runs it. Shout outs to Isaac. He was just like everybody else. He's just like Tony Khan. He grew up loving independent wrestling. He wanted to do his own thing, and he made it fucking happen. And, you know, he sits out there in the crowd watching these shows, and I just see that, you know, I can look over and I see the delight on his face when, like, something happens and he's like, yeah, that's awesome. And because he's like, yeah, I know everybody else is going to think that's awesome. And then that's what this is. It's like, it's not the best wrestling in the world, but there, like I said, there's amazing spots of like phenomenal wrestling, whether it's Masha and Anthony Green, whether it's a dream match like Too Cold and Willie Mack, whether it's the car crash shit with Dr. Cube and Gabe Sky. Everything has a place, everything works, and everything is just fun. And that's what wrestling should always be, is fun. You should never be going there, and it should never feel like a chore. Every match should feel awesome and special and alive, and that's what I love about VXS and GCW and JCW and Beyond and all these other companies. And PWG, now that it's back, like, these are the wrestling companies that really need to be focused on more, because it's the kind of wrestling that everybody wants to see again, that only AEW or Impact can give them. It's this shit. And it's quick. What was it, like 2.5 hours?
About, yeah.
It goes by in a flash. They don't oversaturate it with like 10 match cards. You get, 7 matches on the show.
Mm-hmm.
You're in, you're out. There's something for everyone. It's wrestling. And it's what wrestling should be. And I will always continue to support them. VXS's next show won't be in Jersey. They'll be in LA. I'll support them by watching it, obviously. But yeah, no, that's all I can say is, you know, I leave with a happy smile on my face, and then afterwards, you know, the wrestlers interact with the fans and stuff, and that's always entertaining, you know, just to see people that maybe haven't even knew these people beforehand and just found out that night, or like, wow, you impressed me, and like all this jazz, and it's like, that's got to feel good for the wrestlers as well. I met Joel Gertner.
Yeah, I saw that.
Joel Gertner's back, and that's awesome. I got a picture with Larry Legend and MLJ, which was awesome. They're, you know, three gods of ring announcing, along with Tony Chimmel. I can't. I mean, look, I'm gonna be biased as fuck with it, because this is the shit that I love, and I'm gonna support it. And if something's bad, I'll mention it. Like I said, I didn't care for Swan and Cage because it was too fucking short. And, like, the Gabe Sky promo went on for a little bit too long afterwards. But that's a few fucking minutes. At least it's not a 20-minute promo to start Raw, and there's no wrestling. I love East Coast professional independent wrestling, and I'll be biased for the end of times.
Well, I'm glad that you found the woman of your dreams in VSX, Adam. I'm very happy for you.
Oh, no. My heart still belongs to GCW. But this is like my Guma.
Oh, my God.
This is a side bitch.
All right. We're off of this one. Well, we finally have reached the creme de la creme, our main event of the evening, the featured contest, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Jason, as always.
Yes, it is time to talk about Space Jam 1996.
Shut up! We don't have time for this bit anymore. Jason, we usually give our guests a choice of any topic they want to talk about when it comes in the realm of wrestling. And that could be of now, of the past, of something that might happen, of something that already did happen. It is up to you. So I leave it to you of what we are going to talk about for the next something minutes.
All right, so I was gonna go on about what I was originally wanting to do was like talk about different moments in wrestling that affected not just what was going on, but affected the business as a whole. Because there's been moments, in wrestling that has changed the business. But instead of, because in my opinion, if we went on with with a lot of these, we'd be here for another hour.
Yeah.
I think the main one I want to talk about, and it's the one that really, really hurt the business. I don't know if you've all talked about this or anything like this, but since the resurrection of, well, not the resurrection, since AEW has appeared and everything, I think what I want to talk about is the death of WCW.
We have not talked about the death of WCW.
Because
the only thing we've only talked about rebooking 2001's WCW, but we've never talked about the actual death of WCW.
Now, this right here, the death of WCW, in my opinion, was one of the worst things to happen to the business. Because here's the thing. There's a lot of good independent wrestling. There's good, international wrestling and everything. But a lot of that, is shaped through the big names. Through, WCW and through the WWF at the time. When WCW died, for me, that began a downward spiral for the WWE, for the WWF, which we are seeing now taking full effect, because it was 20 years until something else popped up that finally gave them a kick in the ass, and they don't know how to deal with it. They do not know how to deal with AEW because they were so fucking comfortable for so long of being the company, the place where everyone wanted to go. Now people have options, and it's not just AEW. You got all these other companies, people can go to. But before AEW popped up, we seen the emergence of Impact. We saw the emergence of ROH, but they could never, ever grasp what WCW had. They had for those good couple years, WCW had the WWF by the balls, and say what you will about the death of WCW, there's so many people, you can blame so many people, Russo, Hogan, Nash, or anything. Let me tell you, the true person that killed WCW, it wasn't anyone in the company. It was Warner. They didn't want wrestling on TNT and TBS anymore. Because here's the thing, what many people don't understand is WCW was still getting good ratings. They weren't getting the ratings they were getting, but at that time, they were still good ratings. Ratings that WWE nowadays would fucking kill for. It's kind of hilarious. It's kind of hilarious where WCW was when it was dying compared to where WWE is now.
Well, I don't think it's a fucking if these roles were reversed, and we're thinking of now,
Mhm.
and the ratings that WWE would be putting on compared to even WCW, like it's not even fucking close. It's not even fucking close. Like, it's so goddamn horrendous. But
Well, you look at it, and it's like WCW. Bischoff clearly had. We've mentioned this when we were rebooking. The Big Bang whole ordeal was they were going to take 3 months off. They were going to come back fresh. And they were going to try some new things out. At this point, I think Vince Russo was gone, so Bischoff pretty much had the keys to the castle again, which, give or take, you can look at that as either a bad thing or a good thing. But having Russo and Bischoff together as the main heads was clearly a bad thing because they had such different outlooks. Do I think WCW would have, even if the Big Bang happened, I don't think WCW would still be alive today. I don't think they would have really even made it maybe through the full 2000s to begin with. But it's clear as fucking crystal, for the past 20 years, everybody has said this, and Impact tried their fucking damnedest if they goddamn try. But competition in a fucking profession like this is needed. Because if there is no competition, then the company that has the keys to the wrestling kingdom are just going to do whatever they want because they know we're the only ones left. And that's the story for the past 20 years. Until AEW showed up, was we're the WWE. Everybody else doesn't matter. What the fuck's an Impact Wrestling? They control the goddamn wrestling world, and Vince made it his world. And because of that, we have what we have now, where the WWE is a shell of itself, and that has a lot to do with WCW dying.
Because here's the thing, because I know you all had this debate and everything like that, and there's a reason why I don't like the Austin and Vince McMahon thing. What happened at WrestleMania 17? It's because yes, that's a cool moment right there. Oh, that's an awesome call JR made, but that right there solidified everything that happened for the next 20 years. It was Vince McMahon saying, I have control now. I can do whatever I want. I can turn the top babyface in the company heel. Yes, I know Austin was all for it and everything. I might even be in his idea. I don't know. But it was just that fact that Vince McMahon had that power to do that. Because what happened afterwards after Austin turned heel? Ratings started to tank. People started to leave. And that's the thing. When WCW died, a lot of people, and when they saw what was going on in WWF, they're like, oh, that's just the writing on the wall right there. And some people were really, big WCW loyalists. They didn't want to go, watch WWF. They're like, oh, fuck this. And a lot of people just left, wrestling. A lot of them, either just, gave it completely up, or, they went to like the indie scenes, watching that stuff, or they went to, watch MMA.
That led to the invasion, which we haven't touched, I don't think, at all yet on the podcast.
No.
Oh.
Hey, kid.
We know what that did. We know what that did for them as a business. Well, obviously, the Invasion pay-per-view itself did really good money. The pay-per-views following that Invasion show did bad. And I think the SummerSlam that year did like under 500 buys, 500,000 buys, which was a huge down for SummerSlam, which is always like the second highest bought show of the calendar year. And that all has to do with the WCW thing getting bought because, they tried out the Buff Bagwell thing in Booker T. And while the match itself isn't all that great, I don't think it's a bad match. And, Scott Hudson, God bless his soul, is giving it his goddamn all on commentary with Arn Anderson, who I think was just thrown out there at last second because I think Joey Styles was supposed to originally be Scott Hudson's partner. And then that fell through for some reason, and then Jerry was also supposed to be Scott Hudson's partner, but, all the shit with him and his wife. So instead, here's Arn Anderson, and so they tried. But the issue was, this wrestling crowd, the diehard WWF wrestling crowd, have been accommodated for so many years at that point that WCW bad, anything WCW bad. So they shit on the match. And instead, Vince decided, instead of realizing that he created the issue, just took it out on the WCW guys, and WCW was treated as a fucking joke. Do we have to talk about poor DDP?
Oh, and this is the entire thing about the fucking invasion angle, was to make WCW look so fucking bad. Who were the main people in the feud? It was WWF guys. You had Stone Cold. You had Kurt Angle. The only guy who was WCW that was a part of the top feud was Booker T, but that was barely.
Well, and then he got buried because he hurt Austin.
Yeah.
And they were so desperate they had to bring in ECW to make something of it.
Yeah.
And arguably ECW looked a lot better than WCW did. But that's not a surprise because WWE and ECW were kind of like working partners forever. At that point nobody knew that, but we know hindsight's 2020 now. We know that Paulie and Vince pretty much have been working together for all these years. So clearly Vince was like, yeah, all right, I'll push the ECW guys. They got Rob Van Dam. He's cool and shit. And so the whole invasion became ECW guys, and that was about it.
The ECW guys were competent, where the WCW guys were complete morons.
You look at what the ECW people did. There's the Jeff Hardy match with RVD, which is God bless that match at Invasion. I mean, the Invasion match itself was 3/5 ECW.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, look at what they did with DDP and Canyon in that awful SummerSlam match with the Brothers of Destruction. All of this just is bury WCW. We won. We're the number one, and nobody else can touch us. And with that, Vince gets all the power in the world to do whatever the hell he wants, whether it's the...
And they refused to buy out any of the big star contracts from Warner. I understand those guys were a lot of money. But just think about it. They could have made that money back easily. You would have had Goldberg. You would have had the NWO, Hall, Hogan, Nash. You could have had Steiner pop up and everything like that. Flair. Just imagine that. When WCW first popped up, you got the WCW B team taking on the entirety of the WWF.
Yeah, Sean Stasiak.
You had fucking Sean Stasiak, and a lot of these guys, they were a lot of the younger guys, but those guys were still underdeveloped. Those guys were, like I said, they were the fucking B team. The only stars they had were Booker T and DDP, and those two got buried quick.
DDP never stood. DDP never stood a chance.
He never stood a chance. It took him 2 years after that with the motivational speech gimmick that and that was only maybe for the last 6-7 months of his career.
Yeah,
I'm I've seen so many people on Twitter and that I know that because of during the pandemic, they didn't have anything to watch, so they put on the network. And a lot of people, surprisingly, went back to watch Nitros and WCW. And the general opinion has really turned in the past few years that maybe WCW should have won. And when you really look at it, yeah, they kind of should have. Because if there was one thing that Bischoff, I feel was more competent than Vince was, it was keeping some form of a variety. Where WWF was kind of still doing what WWE does now, and it's the same tired formula. At least with WCW, the Cruiserweights, the NWO when it was at its peak.
But that's always been the thing, though, right? Vince himself has always been trying to monopolize professional wrestling. And he could say how much he hated the term professional wrestling for years. It doesn't matter that he has made his name off of the whole concept of professional wrestling itself.
He has made his money off the blood, sweat, and bodies of professional wrestlers.
Yes. So it's like he's taken, and it's like I said, I love how the narrative, I said it on Twitter, I love how the narrative is that it's still the talent's fault after all these years. It's still the talent's fault for not going over, and not Vince's horrendous booking for the past 20 years. But that's the thing. That's the thing, though. 20 years. Think of how long it's actually been since the death of WCW. We have gone through an entire generation, a new generation of fans, of people who have only know of Vince's way of booking, that only know of Vince's way of promoting talent. So when you got stuff like AEW that's now like, oh, it's growing, and it's like, they don't understand it. They literally don't understand because they've been brainwashed into thinking like this is how wrestling is supposed to go, and this is how it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to be like this one specific thing, and they're not used to that. They're not used to other people, saying, well, no, how about an alternative or a different way, or at least things in wrestling that you don't usually last for very long, or things that are just becoming as popular as AEW. They're not used to that. They're used to the WWE
AEW, like WWE, AEW, so many people say it. It's like it is literally the spiritual successor to WCW because it's doing what WCW did. It's a variety show. You have the Lucha Libre inspirations, and you get the hardcore matches, and you get the technical ability matches, and the beautiful tag team work. And, also WCW was kind of the originator of the Forbidden Door, where they were bringing in New Japan guys and AAA guys.
The amount of Joshi wrestlers.
The amount of Joshi, Miami Toyota, Cutie Suzuki, Bull Nakano, giving them it might not have been a long top period. It might have been 4 or 5 months of it, but it gave them a chance to get noticed. You look at how many people today that we praise, Eddie Guerrero's and the Chris Jericho's and the Rey Mysterios and Psychosis and Hoovies. We would not have known of them if Bischoff wasn't like, I'm going to give all wrestling the opportunity. Some people learned about people like Eugene Nagata and Kenzo Suzuki and Liger because WCW. And that gave them the reason to go out of their way. And then they watched New Japan or AAA or other, wrestling. And then they learn about them. And then they become fans of those companies. And that's what wrestling should always be. It always should be benefiting everybody else, with maybe one big company being the gateway. And that's what AEW is doing right now. Yeah. But WWE never did that. It was always a clod. The fact that they even brought Liger in is still kind of surprising to me because that's not WWE's thing. Unless you're signed or you work for them, that's who all you get to see. There is no Forbidden Door because Vince doesn't believe that the other wrestling exists besides his beauty. And that's because he believes he killed wrestling. And whatever exists now is not competition. And that's the sad part, is that it is competition. But he's because it's so fixated on money and not what brought him to the table. And that's what's killing it. And that's where WCW would have thrived because Bischoff never was trying to kill wrestling. He just wanted to kill the WWE because he realized it was a fucking awful place.
Yeah.
But he gave so much wrestling a chance.
And it's just funny how, the narrative of, because the old saying, history is written by the winners and everything like that. The amount of fucking propaganda WWE did during those past 20 years is showing that WCW was incompetent. WCW was nothing but morons. WCW was the inmates were running the asylum. It was fucking ridiculous. It was. Look, we get it. There was a lot of people who were at the top who had a lot of fucking political power, who probably shouldn't have that power. But that's no fucking different than the WWF. There was no fucking difference. But all these years, people will always say, "Oh, it was Bischoff that killed WCW. It was Hogan that killed WCW. It was Russo that killed WCW." What killed WCW was Warner not wanting wrestling on their networks anymore. That's what killed WCW.
Yeah, I mean, Ted Turner loved wrestling. I mean, it's the infamous, the infamous line. Ted Turner goes up to Vince McMahon and says, "Looks like we're in the wrestling business." And Vince says, "No, we make movies." And everybody goes back to that line. And that is the most telling line of them all. Is because Bischoff was in the wrestling business. Tony Khan is in the wrestling business. Jeff Jarrett, wrestling business. Who runs ROH? Joe Koff.
Yes.
The wrestling business. Paul Heyman, the wrestling business. Vince McMahon, entertainment. But it's masked as a wrestling company.
And now and forever.
And nobody sees that. And even to this day, and what we've seen lately with all the people getting released and then the fans go and they blame them. Or you get something fucking stupid like Ronda Rousey. Being like, "Oh, well, if you cheered for him more, maybe he..." No, you dumb bitch. That's not how this company works. Any other company, that's exactly how it works. They cheer for you, the company takes notice, and they start to do something with you.
Mm-hmm.
Not this company, because unless it's Vince's way,
it's the highway.
There is no other. That's the highway. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the fans chant, but we keep the moniker of, "Oh, it's the fans." Vince does listen to the fans. You're just fucking saying, you're just crocodile tears. It's not wrestling anymore. It's a sad just death.
It's a sad circus, and the clowns have gone home.
And so, maybe people are right then. Maybe WCW should have lived and kept going for a little bit. And who knows what would have happened. If WCW existed, say, for maybe another 2 or 3 years, Vince doesn't go and make his company public yet. What does that end up doing for the business? So many things change once Vince had control of wrestling.
Yeah.
I just like to...
That's why so many people look at WrestleMania 17 as the end of wrestling.
The death nail.
That was it. 17 happened, and then wrestling died for so many people. Because that was the fun was gone. There was no more, either watch WCW or WWF, and who's going to out-top the other guy next? It was nope, we have one company, and that company is going to do whatever the fuck they want. And they did for 20 goddamn years. And they're still doing it. But now, there is AEW. And doing the Forbidden Door deal, all these other companies are now getting in on the fun, which gives them the promotional, outlook from people. Now, granted, some of them aren't on big network stations, but Impact just opened up a YouTube thing. Vice is very, I think, accessible on many cable stations, but also Vice puts their shit up on their website as well. That's where I watch Darkside. There's options again, but the company is so goddamn far up their ass at this point where as long as we're making billions of dollars off of sponsorships and TV deals and whatever the fuck we're doing with NBC, we don't need to give a fuck about what happens on our TV.
But I really like that we can talk about this now in the year of 2021 with everything that's going on, with the amount of just incredible amounts of news that we've gotten over the past couple of years. People we thought we'd never actually see wrestle again are actually wrestling again. And guys we thought would never leave the Fed are leaving the Fed and they're trying something new. It feels like wrestling in itself is getting a second chance.
Yeah. I mean, look in 2021, we saw fucking Chris Jericho in a goddamn death match.
I could still go on about that for like hours. Can we talk about that again?
No! But it is crazy. Jericho working a match with Nick Gage. That's insane.
Nick Gage working a match on TV.
2000.
Tanahashi's gonna be in AEW.
Think about
fucking Jay White's in Impact.
2016, 2015. You said any of this 5 years ago to any wrestling fan, they call you fucking nuts.
Oh yeah. Juventud Guerrero is gonna be on my TV again.
Yeah, all
right.
Okay,
what
buddy.
Fuck are you? What are you smoking?
Like, what's that? But that's exactly what this feels like. It feels like
Cold Scorpio is 55 and he's wrestling.
It feels like a new lease on life.
For fuck's sake, even somebody like X-Pac, Click member X-Pac, doesn't want to do another match for the W, wants to do a match for GCW as his retirement match. And that's Hunter's boy. You know, people like Ric Flair being like, no, I want to leave because I don't like what you're doing with me. Like, that's Ric Flair. That's one of the WWE poster boys. That's Ric Flair. Big Show. Mark Henry. Matt Cardona. Like, people who are like, these are like lifers. Are finding better time and success and rejuvenation of just wrestling and their careers because they're no longer under the awful banner. They get to go and explore new things. Fucking Matt Cardona was in a death match with Nick Gage. That happened.
He's the
world champion.
Matt Cardona in 2021 is technically
a world
champion.
You know?
Crazy.
He's Grand Slam now.
You look at some of the these prospects like Tay or Cesar Bononi, Nick Camarado. Like, these were guys that were in developmental and never got a shot. And people see Tay as a fucking star.
Yep.
In the making. You know, I'm not the biggest Caesar guy, but hey, at least he's fucking doing something.
He's trying.
On TV.
He's fucking not just TV. He's actually trying. Like, you could see the dude wants to learn. Which is one thing I can appreciate more than anything else, is that if you're going out and you're willing to learn outside of your comfort zone, dude, that in and of itself deserves a round of applause.
I mean, just look at it. You know, with a lot of the younger guys on there, and you can say like a lot of things like, oh, you know, they're not that good or anything like that. I mean, when they're in AEW, you can tell that the guys who are still green are working their ass off to make themselves better.
And this is and the company like rewards them for it.
Yeah. I mean, while in WWE, it's just like they'll okay, as long as you get to a certain level, yeah, we'll push you and everything like that. It doesn't matter. We don't need you to be, you know, any better than what you are now. I mean, another guy that you can say, you know, is a guy that's improved. Look at 10 for the Dark Order.
Yeah.
That guy, one of his first matches, you know, I saw, you know, PU and everything like that, greenish good shit. You know, he's still learning and everything, but one of his more recent matches, he's doing better.
He's getting better.
You can see the improvement.
Yes,
and that has a lot to do with like the morale and the locker room and the people that are behind the scenes that are training with them. Jerry Lynn, Dean Malenko.
Because you got a locker
room
full of guys and gals who want to see the future. You don't have it's not a locker room filled with egomaniacs who are just trying to keep their spots.
And that's kind of what WCW was like. You know, and you know, to do like really creative, like WCW did, you know, incorporate, not just, you know, if you're going to incorporate like an outside tie-in, like a pop culture tie-in, do it the right way. Don't do Ms. Zombies. And make the whole thing about the fucking, the sponsorship. The sponsorship can be a part of it. They had Rick and Morty introduced the Best Friends. Jay and Silent Bob were in the crowd, and it added to the match. It didn't take it away. The fucking beauty of the Toon Squad entrance last week, which I
do you know what really sparks the difference between WCW and WWE? WWE, they would put other people's logos on their shit. Other companies' shit. Fucking everyone else back during the time of WCW, they were begging to have the NWO logo on something.
Yeah, it was the opposite.
NWO had a fucking NASCAR.
It was the opposite, yeah.
NWO, you were seeing it on different shows. You were seeing people like they had nothing. There was a fucking cooking show where one of the guys was wearing an NWO shirt. And I do remember like one time they had Macho Man there for some reason. But hey, fucking hell, Macho Man cooking me a cheeseburger is fucking hilarious.
And now you look at what AEW has been able to. The fucking Boys, which is a huge show right now. In one of the episodes, there's the Frenchie is wearing a Kenny Omega t-shirt. In The Boys, Family Feud just had an episode with Peter Avalon and Jungle Boy and David Arquette on it. It's like, you go back to the Domino's thing that happened. Once Domino's, that thing came out, like a shit ton of other sponsors from companies were like, we'll take their spot. We'll be a part of this. It's like, it's the complete opposite where the W wants to be so like, we and you know what the other worst thing is I've never understood this. When WWE does like these like commercials that you see during the pay-per-views, like when they did the KFC thing or this Applebee's commercial, you never see those on TV. They're only ever shown to the WWE people who are already watching the product. So who the hell are you selling to? Like, why bother putting in all this money for like a giant like Miz and Dolph Ziggler chicken Colonel Sanders fight? But that commercial never plays on TV. It only plays during the WWE.
I ever saw that fucking commercials during fucking SummerSlam.
And that's the thing. It's like you see it once and you never see it again. So, what was all that for? Oh yes, for Vince to get a paycheck. WCW was the opposite. People wanted them to work with them instead of, oh no, we want to work with you. Hey, these companies were like, no, we want WCW branding. Give us Goldberg. Give us Sting in that awesome Sprite commercial where he beats up a child.
Fucking Goldberg had a monster truck. Goldberg had a monster truck.
And then you look at all the legends that AEW, just like WCW, they're using the legends the right way. Some people like Tully Blanchard and Arn and Jake and Christian or Matt Hardy, Big Show. I guess we'll see what happens with Mark Henry when he does commentary on Friday. But like, they know how to use their legends. Conan. WWE treats their fucking legends like trash. I mean, do we have to go over what happened at Legends Night? I think we did.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's good to have AEW. And when people make the comparisons to WCW, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But the people hear it that have been so condoned to the WWE way that when they hear, oh, AEW's like WCW, oh, that means they're trash. That means they're bad.
Yeah.
But it's like, but no.
Because that's a stigma that needs to go away. That being compared to WCW is a bad thing. Fuck no, it's not a bad thing. Because remember, WCW had WWE, had the WWF by the fucking balls.
All WWE likes to do is like, only 2000 to 2001 existed. Let's only talk about all the awful, awful stuff that happened instead of talking about the good stuff. The stuff that beat them for 83 weeks. No, we only talk about, the New Blood and Vince Russo and poor David Arquette. Still the greatest WCW World Champion of all time.
No.
I'm sorry, Vince Russo, greatest episode.
But I think what it is, we're seeing the changing of the guard. Zechariah said it best. Wrestling's getting a new lease on life. It's getting a second chance, and it's funny because, like I said, I'm a guy who's seeing a lot of eras. I've seen the entirety of the Hogan era through VHS tape, and same with the New Generation era. I pretty much grew up. My childhood was from was seeing the Monday Night War. When I was a teenager, it was WWE through the 2000s. Most of my 20s was spent watching WWE in the 2010s.
Oh, the guest host era.
Yes, and now we're here, 20 years later, from the year that WCW died. We're seeing its successor live, breathe, and thrive.
We're seeing WCW finally getting the credit it deserves.
Yes.
Because people have now going back and they're rewatching and they're realizing, wow, this shit was pretty fucking banging. Yeah, there's bad stuff in there, but there's bad stuff in all wrestling. But there are some amazing highlights in WCW that are now finally getting the recognition. You go back and something like there's a great Twitter page that I think got taken down, which was the Steve Mongo Twitter page. And the whole point of it was to, showcase, Mongo, who, is not a great wrestler or promo. But the guy made the page not to bash WCW or Mongo, but because that's the shit that he remembered and he loved because he found it so entertaining. So he wants to showcase it for other people to be entertained by it, but not in a we're laughing at you. It's more we're laughing with you.
So, bless Mongo.
Because he's in really bad shape right now.
Yeah, with he's battling ALS. Which I had a cousin who went through all that, who passed away back in 2019, and watching someone you love go through that, it's real bad, and sending our love to
love to Mongo McMichaels.
Yeah.
And even something like the Dungeon of Doom, for as fucking corny as it is. It's funny. It's entertaining.
It's memey as hell.
Yeah, I mean,
I would rather go back and watch that shit. I'd rather hear, oh, there's no Hulkamaniacs here. Oh, it's not even hot.
Oh God, when he's touching the Rock. You go back, you watch when he does the Black Knight gimmick or fucking the monster truck match. It's all campy bullshit, but it's fun. And like I said, with the VXS shows or the GCW shows or even AEW, the fun is what wrestling should always be. It should never be a chore, or it should never feel like homework, or it shouldn't feel like you're just watching a show because it's on. It should be, damn, that was awesome. I can't wait for the next segment. Oh, that made me laugh. That was awesome. Or, oh, holy shit, that crazy cruiserweight match was sick. That was all. I can't wait for the next thing that happens. With Raw, it's match. No, it's a promo. Another match. Another promo.
AEW has brought back, anticipation and want to see what's going to happen next.
It has rejuvenated wrestling, and once Bryan and Punk show up, shit's about to fucking change.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Because all of those lapsed WWE fans that were watching with Bryan, they're going to turn the channel. And all those lapsed fans that left after Punk left, they're going to come back. And then if somebody like Bray Wyatt shows up, who was the last remaining diehard for these diehard WWE fans, they're going to change the channel too. Because there's a lot of those diehard wrestling fans on Twitter who always made those arguments that AEW was the devil, who had these Bray Wyatt, picture, profile pictures. Guess what they're going to do? they're going to change the channel. Because, like I said, unlike the CM Punk chant, where it was more, at this point, not about wanting Punk back, but Punk was like, this is the cry of, we want change. When people started chanting for Bray Wyatt on Raws and SmackDown, that's not because they want change. That's because they wanted Bray back. And you let him go. We'll see how you do.
Well, I think this was a very good discussion to have, especially over everything that's happened over the course of the year and what is shaping up to be for the very tail end of this year. So, yeah, hopefully this is nothing like what happened with WCW ever happens ever again. Because, god damn it, we don't need another 20 fucking years of another power-hungry man trying to monopolize a thing that should be for fucking everybody.
If what came out is true, because I guess this was the only other bit of news that also sort of broke, but no one really talked about it because the W shit completely, overtook it, it looks like Warner is gung-ho with AEW, with, as they've made clear, 4 shows in production that aren't Rampage and Dynamite, one of them being the reality show with Cody. They're planning on a streaming type deal, which I can only imagine will be HBO Max, which HBO Max is the fucking shit. It's the best streaming service out there. Go watch the Suicide Squad. So that's going to help, because that's something that the W has through Peacock, but Peacock is fucking garbage. HBO Max is the shit, and that's awesome. And there's also more reality-based stuff that they have intended on doing, and more cross-promoting through the Warner media outlets. Warner is gung-ho. They are loving what AEW is bringing to the table. And when the contract, I think in a year, with Warner comes up, and they're in for the renewal, AEW is going to be getting paid a lot more money to have their TV on their networks.
Well, I honestly can't wait to have more AEW-related stuff come out in the near future.
And more AEW means more companies are going to get focused, which means wrestling just gets better and better.
Absolutely. And with that, I think that's where we're going to close things off here. Jason! Please tell these lovely folk where they can find you over the interwebs.
All right, to find me on the interwebs, I have 2 YouTube channels. I have UWO Voltage, which is part of the VW canon, which these 2 lovely gentlemen are also a part of. Just type in UWO Voltage, and you should find me pretty easy. The other one is UWO Call Wrestling, which is my other YouTube channel, which is a part of the ACW canon with Hakeem Johnson. Yes, UWL Rush, the official developmental area for ACW. Also, check me out on Twitter with UWL_VW for my VW stuff. Also, I have my personal Twitter page. If you want to go follow me, it's Real DTJ Brown at Twitter. But yeah, that's pretty much my shit.
Well, Jason, it was very just lovely time for us to spend time with you to talk about wrestling here. Hopefully that we can have you on another episode, because I very much enjoyed doing this.
Very much.
I had a great time.
Again, I say this all the time. Everybody will be back. We're just trying to get through as everybody that needs to get on, because there's a lot.
Yep. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up here for the 4 Post Massacre podcast. Adam, is there anything substantial you would like to add to end off this podcast?
Yes. As mentioned earlier, check out Jersey Championship Wrestling this Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Game Changer Wrestling YouTube channel. It is free to watch. Check out some awesome wrestling. Like, hey, we talked about WCW. They're doing Battle Bowl. Battle Bowl is the fucking shit. I get to see a Battle Royal live for the first time, which is gonna fucking rule. So check them out. As I always try to make it clear: support independent pro wrestling. It is the lifeblood of wrestling. Going right now without these independent companies, there is no future, and that's what we're all staring towards. And to quote the great John Cena, in terms of AEW, from his breakout performance as Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad, it's okay to show off, but what you're showing off is dope as fuck.
And that is 100% the fucking truth. So for me, for Jason, for what was it?
Marijuana
Cena. This has been the Four Post Massacre Podcast. And remember, everybody.
No! God damn it! Why do you have to ruin it? So Space Jam Podcast returns next week.
Goodbye, everybody!
Yoshi Tatsu versus Kenny Omega.
No!